go by so fast. Well, there goes Tatty Tats. Everybody's neck goes spastic. What's up, Poker Cat? You look fanny-pack-tastic. The Amazon's so lively. I'm looking out for Ivy. You snake me in the main. I'll sell some pieces. Someone buy me. Everyone knows that this town is special, but no one can tell you why. Let's go to the moon and some side super satellites. Sell some jars in the hole by the bathroom lines. Kessler's voucher street bucks he can eat tonight. World Series on. Man, I can't wait to go. It's on fire on ESPN. Poker news got you news for the seniors events. So stand up under some sticks so the outer red. World Series on. Man, I can't wait to go. Man, I can't wait to go.
Good morning, Sherry. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. We're having fun. Day 3, reporting live from the Circus RV Park. We're right next to the lazy river here. And Sherry, my daughter pointed out to me that the lazy river is so lazy, it's just actually a mud pit. There's actually no water.
Are they just building it or did it go debunked?
I'm just teasing.
Teasing.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't even know they had one there. So...
No, they don't.
Okay.
It's just a bit. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Yeah. We've been having fun yesterday. Headed over and did another satellite. I'm just kind of taking it easy this week. And I think that's a good point for people that are coming into town, especially if you're coming for the first time or if you haven't played poker in a while. Like, don't make your first hand of the year like in a very expensive event. Shake the cobwebs off. I definitely did that yesterday, and played better yesterday than the day before. And
not only that, but shake off that time change.
Yeah, well, that's true too. If you're coming in, you don't want to look like Tony G on Friday, half asleep. And then get good sleep. Don't go out the night before drinking and stuff if you're playing an event. These events, Sherry, by the way, like a lot of people don't realize, a lot of them are starting earlier this year at 10 a.m. So I don't know if you know my friend Bob that is a floor guy over there at the World Series. He usually does the final tables and stuff.
Yes, I do know who that is.
Yeah, he said hello, by the way, and he was saying, "Man, I'm not used to having to get in at 8 a.m. to get things set up. It's kind of weird." So, anyway,
well, you tell him I said hello as well, and quite honestly, as a person that feels obligated to put on makeup before I can leave the hotel room for an event, the 10 a.m. time change kind of hinders my morning routine of room service and, shower, makeup, and,
yeah.
So
well, and this year too, it's not only 10 a.m. too. You've got to get up much earlier because the traffic is crazy. Now, I haven't tried to head over there at 10 a.m. But if the times that I'm going is like about 1 o'clock or something like that, and it is worse than I've seen it, like on a crazy night. And one of the things that people don't realize is there's construction going on, not just on the strip, but just all the roads around that you would usually be able to use to go the back secret way. Certainly the strip is the worst. Avoid it if you can.
It's I've been hearing that from all different sizes and shapes and forms and people, and what the biggest construction as far as the roads are concerned is for the Formula One race that's coming next year. So they're trying to get the race course built.
Yeah, and that's not going to end either very soon
and so it's affecting a lot of side roads and.
Yeah, even my computer here is saying I-15 North construction. So even the 15, but you're right. The streets are the worst because of the Formula One construction. For those that don't know, they're going to have a Formula One race that goes down the strip, and it goes around the back of the hotels and stuff like that. I heard yesterday they aren't even sure how people are going to get in and out of some of the hotels, in front of where because it goes right by Bellagio and everything. So anyway, if you're coming into town, those hotels that are like right around, Paris and the Horseshoe, are, probably coming at a premium, honestly. Like, I think I say that kind of jokingly, but realistically, they're probably, you're probably a lot better off if you can stay at Paris or Bally's
Well, I'll
or
tell you
something pretty close.
another thing I would recommend is go over and park at Harris and take the monorail over.
Yeah, that's another option too. Yeah, I was doing that from MGM last year because I stayed there. So
Right. Or
that
go
can,
over to the MGM and take the monorail over, right? And that way you
yeah,
could just leave your car parked there and take the monorail and
yeah,
hopefully avoid some of the nonsense.
yeah. I could not believe how bad it was. I don't know that I've ever seen it that bad when I had somebody drop me off there yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh. So anyway, to the World Series of Poker, event number one wrapped up yesterday with Peter Ty winning the casino employees event for $75,000. He beat James Urbanick in heads up play for 46,000.
How amazing is that? Congratulations.
Yeah, to win a genuine World Series of Poker bracelet, the dream come true, my friend.
Right.
Would be awesome.
And what did you end up playing yesterday?
So I just played a satellite just to kick it around, like not
Did you play the 1 o'clock or the 4 o'clock?
and really I had planned to play the deep stack, but lunch ran late. That earlier starting time combined with the traffic it used to be a 2 p.m. deep stack. It's now 1 p.m. I think.
Right.
And
Right.
and so that kind of did me in. Hopefully I'm going to make it over there in time today. I don't have scheduled lunch, so I'm going to head out of here pretty early and try to get over there. Maybe I'll eat lunch over there just to be safe. So event number two is the 25K six-handed event, and obviously a star-studded field. And listen, Sherry,
They're down to
we got
9.
to talk about this because, Lucky Chewy, unfortunately, our guy busted in 10th, and now we have the final table. And why I say unfortunately is because, the guy that we didn't want to be in there is in there. Our friend, well, I don't know. He used to be a friend, Jake Schindler.
Schindler.
So
Everybody's bringing up that
yeah,
name this
yeah, we
morning.
want.
He's in the 8th place as far as chip stacks are concerned. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going to bring up all the allegations and things, but just to say that, like, if you're one of these people, like, I was on Sean Deeb's Spaces last night, and he was talking about how he definitely makes these people feel uncomfortable when they're at the table, as Sean can do, um, and they deserve it. So if I got to root for anyone here, my buddy Chance Corneth is
Yes,
is
Cornet.
uh, is a killer. A couple of years ago, I got to see kind of as he was helping coach one of my other friends at the final table. Um, I got to see kind of his thinking on things, kind of listening in, and I got to tell you, Sherry, like my mind was kind of blown in terms of how a person like that sees the game. They don't see the game like I do. It's just
And you know
Maybe.
what? That's why he's sitting on the sixth chip stack for that 25K, right?
Yeah, he is. I guarantee you, he is very comfortable and in his element. He is like ready to go. And that guy, like, I'm gonna root for him every single time. So yeah, final nine, Alex Halle. And by the way, forgive me if I butcher some of these names. I do know most of the people, unlike some other people we know. But anyway, Chris Moore, Joey Wiseman, Alexander Voldemar, Sean Winter, Chance Corneth, Ren Lin. We'll skip the eighth place person. Uh, and then Elior Sion is in ninth spot there. Um, so
Should be a good final table, right?
obviously a stacked final table. 1.2 million for first, and the next payout is for ninth place is going to be 104,000. So level 18, 40,000, 80,000 blinds with 80,000 ante, and chopstick chip stack with almost 8 million. Definitely a big gap down to Chris Moore with 4.4. Just to give an idea of where Chance stands, he's at 2.6 million. So, it'll definitely be a battle for that one.
Right. Chip in a chair. And I like to say, and I've said for a long time, you got to get yourself to the final table, and then Lady Luck is going to push you the rest of the way. Yeah, it's talent for sure, but if you catch the Lady Luck at that final table, you're not going to be stoppable.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I always say, it takes like 80% skill to get there, to get let's say into the money, and then 20% luck, and then it kind of flips from there.
Right.
So day 1A of the Mystery Millions was yesterday as well, and Francis Anderson with 2.75 million in chips. Like, how do you do that one day of poker?
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's a fast
Love it.
structure. You got to be firing early and often. I think. I don't know.
Well, and you got to have a little bit of those cards and luck too. It all
You
matters,
ever,
that's for
you ever have
sure.
a day like that where it's just rolling your way, Sherry?
Yes,
Nothing
they
stop.
they don't come very often, but when they come, it's such a fun ride, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Such a
so
fun
so
ride.
last year I had a tournament where I was just crushing everybody and ran up this huge stack, and we're like 5 minutes before a break, and I went from like a massive chip leader to out in like
Yep.
five unbelievable hands.
Yep.
You're just like, surely I can't lose this one too. And people were just walking up to me at break. How's it go? How many? I'm like, I'm out. They're like, what? How is that possible? I said,
Yeah. In February or March, I was playing the ladies event at the WSOC SOP circuit event in Cherokee, and I
yeah,
was one of the chip leaders, and I had the chip leader at my table, and we are on the bubble, and I am on. I think I was big blinds. Yeah, I was big blinds with pocket aces. And guess who ended up being the bubble girl?
oh my
Me, to
goodness.
the chip leader at the table, who called me with pocket fives and hit a five on the 7 or 8 high board.
I got a better story than that, Sherry. Actually,
Goodbye, Sharon. Good game.
Sherry, I woke up with pocket aces in the small blind and the button shoved all in, and I folded correctly um, pre-flop
Oh,
because it was a
yep,
satellite, So
yep.
anyway, um,
That's it. That's the story of poker in a nutshell, right?
I guess our friend. Oh, Eric left. Oh no, he's there. No, he's there. Go ahead and request again, Eric. I'll
Yeah, I
bring
don't
him up.
know. He may
I
be
was just
having
gonna
bad reception.
I was just gonna come to you. Live video of Eden Rocks entering Las Vegas. So Anyway, I guess our friend is coming to town supposedly on Friday. If he's able to find time to send the guy that's going to pay for his ticket what his information or
Well,
not.
good for him.
He was falling asleep, so the guy wanted it last night, but he was arguing about whether he should go to sleep or but somehow, Sherry, somehow Sean D pulled off the mutiny and took over the space, and our friend got some sleep. So yeah, so let's go to today.
Yeah, well, let me. I
Yeah,
want to give props to somebody for yesterday, if I may. A
sure.
friend of mine, and I spoke about her the other morning when we had a listener from Switzerland. I think his name was Alexandros, maybe, but I could have that wrong. Was asking about the tax forms and stuff at the different casinos, and
Yeah.
I mentioned Maureen Bloklinger's name, who's a dear friend of mine, and she played the 250 deep stack at 1 o'clock yesterday, and there were 261 runners, and um, she came in fourth.
Wow.
Uh, but let's have a wink, wink, because there was a back corner chop negotiated, but you didn't hear that here. Uh,
Yeah.
for $4,325 is what she walked away with. So I'm excited for her.
I'm glad that worked out. One thing is you really have to be careful about
100%.
chops. And
100%.
and it's really unfortunate in those dailies because you know, there are some times where I want to chop at the end. There's a lot of money on the table,
Yeah.
but the problem there is, I'm I'm really not trusting some people,
Well,
because
yeah.
you're, and it's no, like not trying to like slight them or anything, but because it's not facilitated by the casino, literally, Sherry, one year they had a guy, he negotiated a chop, and then and then when they got done, he asked security to come over. He got the money from the cage. He asked security to escort him to his car, and he left with the first place prize money. So
Oh
uh,
no, there's scumbags out there, unfortunately, and
yeah, so
you
you got to be
know,
careful.
you got to know who you're sitting at the table with, and she knew the people,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's
so
perfect. Yeah, and I don't
so
mean like
yeah.
everybody makes their choice. I'm not trying to
Yeah, no,
throw any
no. I
shade
get
on
it.
you.
But you have to be aware, right? Everybody should be aware of things that are possible, right? And so here we are. But
So
anyway,
So Groundhog Day today is another day of day one a sorry, this is what one whatever of day one of the
one B.
Mystery Millions. If you're not on to day two for Sunday, go ahead and get in there again or get in there for the first time. There is one re-entry per flight, so if you're inclined to fire again, you can do that. If you're planning, by the way, speaking of that, if you're planning on playing this only one time, you know, um, there's kind of like two different schools of thought here, right? It's like, you know, the pros, they know at this point they have a bunch more bullets to fire at this thing, so
Right.
they might be a little more reckless. And so you may think, okay, well, that may benefit me if I sit back and play a little tighter. Um, but on the other side of that, that's going to make you a little more reckless too.
Well,
Uh,
and you know what? It doesn't hurt anybody if you just late reg even an hour.
and
You
that's
know,
what
you don't
else.
have,
That's what
yeah.
else I was going to say.
Uh,
Because even on that one, even if they have a day one tomorrow, if this is my last buy-in for today, and I'm a pro that I can just fire as much as I want, I'm going to be a little more careful in the second bullet than I am the first.
amen.
So,
Amen.
so that kicks off here in about a half an hour. So if your plan was to be late and you're not at the horseshoe or whatever, there's obviously plenty of time to get over there and do that today. They're going to play 22 levels, 20-minute breaks every 4 levels, and a 75-minute dinner break after level 16 at about 7 o'clock tonight. So,
and again, that's for the day 1B of the Mystery Millions, folks.
yes. And day, let's see, the Tournament of Champions is going on as well right now. Let me go ahead and give you an update on that. I saw that.
That's going to be at 12 p.m. today. That'll be day 2 of the Tournament of Champions. And our friend Software over here is going to go give us an update of who's doing what.
Yeah. So Lon McCarran, our friend, bagged for day 2 of the Tournament of Champions. A lot of players left though. This event had 727 entries, 224 remaining, and there's $1 million prize pool. This, of course, I believe is a free roll, right?
It is.
And they haven't posted on here on Poker News. They don't have actually the prize pool here, but I would imagine that this is kind of like I don't know. Do they set up? Do you know if they set up prize pool beforehand or not? I'm not sure.
I'm trying to think of how they did it last year. I'm trying to think how they did it last year.
And this is the
I
one.
don't remember.
They don't know how many people
remember.
register. You still have to register for it though, even if you qualified.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But how did they do the prize pool? How did they come up with the prize
because
pool?
they don't know how many people, Sherry, are registered yet.
Yeah, but what is the prize pool? Is
1 million.
Point? Like, that's it. Just flat out.
It is.
Yeah, but they can't
Perfect.
announce first place. They can't announce how many people get paid because
right.
they don't know how many people register, because you can still register the start of day 2, which is today.
Right.
Lon McCarran showed up. Lon McCarran was
closed.
texting me yesterday, and he was saying that over half his table is empty. Like, I think it was like 2 or 3 stacks next to him were not even at the table. He could just like steal the blinds over and over and over the whole day. It was crazy.
Well, good for him. I wish that was me.
Yeah, they never showed up. So like, a lot of people, remember, if you win like a $400 tournament in Cherokee, although that's awesome, like, are you going to go now to Vegas and spend money to fly to Vegas to play a free roll? I mean, a lot of people don't want to do that.
I'm doing it 100%.
No, okay. When I say you,
I don't care if I'm out in the first hour. I'm just doing it
if
for
you
the
win a $10,000
experience.
tournament, yeah.
Yeah, who loves it more?
No, but
right?
my point is, a lot of people have families, jobs, etc. It's not worth it for the free roll. It's just the odds of making big money are so small that you're not gonna. If you're already going to the World Series, yes, but I think a lot of these people just never showed up.
Yeah. So now we know how Lon is able to make it.
Exactly, he was cheating. Yeah, he was cheating.
Shows up at his table.
He was stealing dead people's money.
He's good
just
to
cruising
go.
into day 2. Oh, that's hilarious.
So so that's going to go into day 2 with 243 people remaining. We'll get the prize pool and stuff like that tomorrow. I would imagine that the plan is probably to, let me see if I can see here. The tournament,
as soon as registration closes, they're going to announce their prize pool.
Yeah, so day 2 is today at 12 o'clock, right?
Yes.
And play 10 levels, 15-minute breaks every 2 levels, 60-minute dinner break after level 16. And then tomorrow the plan is to play down to a winner. So I would think that they're, Eric, what do you think they're doing? Probably try to get down to the final table today, or pretty close, right?
No, I assume if the employee event finished up last night, they played it all out. I don't see why the Tournament of Champions would just play it all out today.
Yeah, the plan is to restart tomorrow, so they probably are going to play down the final table. If
well, actually, you know what? I think that's right. The prize pool's bigger in this than it was in the employee event, which is weird because the employee event was actual cash, to buy in.
Yeah,
that would make sense. They may even go down to 3 tables so they can televise 3 tables and then take it to a final.
Right, they're going to televise the Tournament of Champions.
Well,
yeah. Well, it's not on CBS, but it'll be streamed.
Oh, the Poker Go. Yeah, not CBS. CBS will
I'm
play
talking about Poker Go.
Yeah,
I think CBS will do the super high roller in the main event. I assume.
Yeah, I'm talking about Poker Go.
I
Yeah,
actually, when you think about it, though, Eric, you know, aside from your thing of people not showing up potentially, you know, this is actually an event that they can cover a lot better because these are people that are kind of like coming in with a story, you know, and that kind of thing. And that's, I think, the hardest thing when you're covering the main event to try to, you know, just do this situation where you're like,
well, you already know who makes a
people.
really deep run is when they show you a package on like day 2 of someone's backstory in their house.
Yeah,
I always say, like, they're interviewing their like little league coach, like back in their hometown. I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
they really flew out there on
Yeah.
day 2 to interview their little league coach. Yeah, okay.
Listen, don't forget, I don't know if you guys were in the space at the time. Somebody brought up, or maybe it was just somebody tweeted it, that some of the Euros can't come over for the tournament champions because they're still in competition for
Oh, Scoop.
I think that's over.
yes.
They just had their last few events.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they still couldn't get here in time to do it. So
Correct. Yeah, I
um,
guess.
there's some of
Well,
those
that's kind of the
blank
point. Like I
stacks are
said,
Euros.
is it worth it for a $1 million free roll? Which sounds like, because you're not going to win $1 million, it's going to be split up. And then even if you make like, you know, top 20, top 30, is that going to cover your cost to cover from Europe for a week? Probably not.
Probably not.
Well,
You got it.
being the
It's like you
true.
said.
Go ahead.
It's all right. It's like you said, Eric. You know, you got to be probably coming here, especially if you're coming from Europe. You know, so that's a lot of.
You got to have the bankroll to play other events. You're
Right.
not coming for that event. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course, of course. Yeah.
But I'll take a free roll any day.
No. Again, we're not arguing against free. I don't want the World Series to hear this and cancel free roll. That's not what I'm hoping for.
I'm on my way over there. I fully support anyone who wants to give me a free roll. Just slide into the DMs.
Well,
and,
ask Thomas. I heard Thomas is giving out free rolls to Vegas.
I'm sorry. Actually, slide into the DMs and leave a letter on my desk. Right.
Hey, listen, just Venmo me. Just Venmo me the money. You don't have to slide into my DMs. Just Venmo the money.
Just Venmo. QR code in the profile, right? All right. So back to the events that are going on. $1,500 dealer's choice event is entering day 2 today. And I had it up here. Sorry. Started with 456 players, 135 players remaining. And let's see here. I don't have a prize pool. Oh, prize pool is $178,890.
Did I read this morning that Alan made a late run and he ended up with a pretty good stack going into day 2? Am I making that shit up?
Let me see here. Chip counts. There's so many left.
I think he was doing well, and then he took a
right.
big beat, and then he ended up, I want to say, with pocket kings and recouped, and so he had a decent bag, I want to say, going into day 2. But you know, I could be making that all up.
Kessler's with 2 S's right now. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have him. Let me see. Let me scan through this really quick.
You know what? I can look at his Twitter too, maybe. Hold on.
Daniel Negreanu still has chips in this 1,500.
Alan Kessler has 19,500 chips, it says.
Okay. All right.
He's in 131st place out of 135. So
now that sounds like the Alan Kessler.
There we go.
And it's
hey,
yeah,
I was just going to ask, if you guys were talking about like they don't have the prize pool up yet because people are still registering, then why are there dead stacks like being blinded out if people can still come?
They a lot of times.
No, it's because by qualifying, they've already theoretically registered. Like they already know the max amount of people that can play. So it's a weird one-off of tournaments that never exist because again, there's only 900 people that qualified possible, so it can't go over that number. But yeah, the blinding off is kind of weird. I agree.
So
Yeah,
are you saying
727?
that's a good question?
Are you guys there?
Yeah. Are you saying that they started out 900 stacks no matter if the person was there or not? I don't see that being
Yeah, because
feasible.
it's a weird tournament. They've already qualified. They're already in the tournament. Like they're technically in the tournament, but they haven't registered to be in the tournament. Like it's such a weird. It's like I know you kind of know what I'm getting at, right? They already know they know Sherry's in the tournament. They know you by
Right.
name. So they put you at a table. But then if you don't show up, they just take you off the table at the start after day 2.
Well,
Wow.
by day 2, though, everyone would have been blinded out for sure. Because I mean, by the time
Probably not. I mean, the World Series, all the events are famous for being pretty slow, right? Usually,
probably not a free roll though.
you start with 30,000
You know
chips,
what?
though.
I'm going to
30,000.
secretly hope that somebody jumps in on one of those
Small stacks.
unmanned stacks at halfway through today and just spins it up,
Yeah,
because that would
I
be a
didn't do the
great
math, but
story.
I guess what I'm saying is all the World Series events, even the faster ones, are still slower than all the
Oh
daily
yeah,
tournaments you'll see
yeah,
around town or at your home
yeah,
casino, right?
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So
So
30,000 chips we start with. I'm assuming you still have something left.
so the
Yeah, but
dealers.
the blinds are 1,000, 1,500, 1,500 at the end of day 1. So everyone would have no chips left for sure.
Well, no, not no, but yeah, they're short as fuck. Yeah, so they basically encourage you to start day 1. But yeah, it's the only tournament I think all series that they already know every single person by name at the start and how many
Right,
people.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
And so that's why I think they have a little bit of an edge on
But
how.
fucking yeah, Lon McCarron. I played golf with him last week, and
Yeah.
I hope he does well. But man, that's crazy because he doesn't play a lot of tournaments, obviously, because he's working. But he took down a regular event here at Thunder Valley up in NorCal, and I forgot. I was so happy he won the ring, but I forgot you get the $1 million free roll, and
Yeah.
if he wins that, that's way more money than the one he won.
Yeah. Well, and a pretty fun story too.
That's
So
amazing.
today is day 2 of the $1,500 dealer's choice event. Starts at 1 p.m. 10-minute levels, 15-minute breaks every 2 levels, 60-minute dinner break at 7:30. And like we said on that one, the remaining players 135. This is the one that Alan's like in
Right.
138th place out of 135. No, I'm just kidding. No, no, he's Alan's a short stack ninja. He's gonna like maneuver that stack. When he gets where he near the bubble, he's gonna head off and use some casino comps to
You know what?
get a
I need to
minute
go
away from
look. I need to go look to see if I have him staked in this one. I've staked him in a few tournaments. I may have him staked in this one. I may need to be rooting for him a little louder than I am.
There you go. Well, do you have the full package or just?
I did not.
Oh,
I
he had a couple
prefer.
different ones, right?
Yeah, I prefer to do. I'm going to be real honest with you. I really just wanted to test out the site,
Yeah,
so that when we talk, when I talk about it, I know I know the site because I've been on it. I'm just that kind of person. I like to know facts because I've been there and done it.
yeah,
And so I just try to, and I probably will buy a few more pieces of people. Not big pieces, just little pieces. Just, it's fun, right?
yeah.
To sweat. But I prefer just buying a piece of one tournament that a person is in. So,
So let me run through the events for today. Today is another day 1 flight B of the Mystery Millions. $1,000 buy-in, 40,000 starting chips. 30-minute levels on day 1, and then 40 minutes going on from there. There is one buy-in per flight, one rebuy allowed per flight, and late registration is going to be open for 12 hours. I'm sorry, 12 levels. And then that starts at 10 a.m. At noon, the mixed no limit hold'em, pot limit hold'em, 8-handed event, $5,000 buy-in, 50,000 starting chips, 30-minute levels again for day 1, and then 40 on day 2. And you're allowed 2 re-entries for that. And they're going to try to play 12 levels of that today. By the way, I noticed that on the later events, like the 2 p.m. here, I believe, and I'm not sure about the 12. On the 2 p.m., I'll go back and look at this 12 o'clock to let you know. But on the 2 p.m. events, for sure, what they've done is they'll skip the dinner break and try to play straight through. Out not straight through. Obviously, there's breaks and things like that. So there's that. The 2 p.m. event is the Limit Hold'em 8-handed $1,500 buy-in, 25,000 starting chips, and 40-minute levels on day one, 60-minute levels on day two. No re-entry. It's a freeze out. They're going to try to get through 9 levels today. So those are the events today. Coming up tomorrow's Mystery Millions, Heads Up No Limit Hold'em Championship. That's the 25K. And then the 7-card stud $1,500 buy-in is the late event for tomorrow. Going through the weekend, Mystery Millions is the thing. Day one on Saturday, and bunch of other things. But Sunday will be day 2 of the Mystery Millions, is what I was getting to. Let me see on this 12 p.m. event today what the schedule is for it. Just want to see here. The 5K is the 10 a.m. Let me see here. Hang on one second. No, the 12 p.m. event today is the mix no limit. So that one plays 20-minute levels and does have a dinner break about 6:30. And then the 2 p.m. event does not have a dinner break, but 15-minute breaks every 3 levels. So
yeah, and I think that anything 2 p.m. with a 2 p.m. or later start, they're not going to do dinner breaks, I think, is the method of operation.
yeah. So open up any questions. Just go ahead and hit the request button. Otherwise, I'm going to go over to kind of like the daily schedules and satellite schedules, just to kind of touch on those a little bit. Those, we have the standard deep stack tournament today at, what is it, 1:00, I believe.
Right.
On the wrong page here. Sorry.
Yeah, 1:00
Yeah,
is the 250, right?
250. Yeah.
I I hate not having it in front of me just because. Okay, you have a 250 with the regular format at 1 p.m. Then you have the accelerated $400 buy-in at 4 p.m. And then you have an accelerated 8 p.m. For $200 buy-in. So those are
Yeah.
turbos.
And then the satellites for today, they have 12 p.m. is a 135 to the Mystery Millions, a 3 p.m. to the Millions, which is a $240 buy-in, a 4 p.m., which is another $240 buy-in to the Mystery Millions. And the difference between the 3 and the 4, the 3 o'clock awards 2,000 in casino chip. So and then the 4 o'clock awards the $1,000 entries into the millions. So
Well, and let's not forget that 10 p.m. because that 10 p.m. is
yeah,
for casino chips as well. For 1,000 in casino chips, it's 135 buy-in at 10 p.m. So I
yeah,
think the casino chips is a great thing.
yeah. There's also 5K, or there's also a daily 5K satellite at 7 p.m. That's a $580 buy-in for 5,000 in casino chips. So if you want to go on the higher side of things, that would be a great way to get the series started up for you, to have 5,000 in casino chips. So
Heck yeah.
um, then going a little out of order. That's the 7. So Sherry said the 10, 7, the 6 p.m. is a $2,700 buy-in, and that's to win a seat for, I believe, tomorrow's 25K Heads Up Championship. So if you're planning to try to get into the 25K, that's a good way to do it. And then obviously I said the 4 p.m. is the $240, which awards a 1K entry into the Mystery Millions.
What great options.
Yeah, and then obviously the standard daily tournaments. I really want to get into the main one today, which is the $250 at, I believe, 1 o'clock. Is it?
Yep, that's the deep
Sherry?
stack at 1 p.m. Yep.
Um, and that that's always been kind of my bread and butter. If I'm not playing an event, I want to play that. And this week, for me, I don't. I would play the Mystery Millions, but it's not really my thing. Like, honestly, like, obviously I play a lot of No Limit Hold'em, but I don't like a lot of the prize pool going into like kind of like this lottery game.
Alan Kessler would hate that. He'd always have like 10,000 chips or less.
Yeah, yeah. He's not the kind of person that takes out a lot of players. Probably he probably wins a lot of like the middling top.
He just keeps doubling up and doubling up to where he has chips left. Go short, double up, go short, double up, which is great. Which is actually a pretty good strategy for a lot of these tournaments. But obviously, when they take out over half the prize pool, I think, right? Is it over half?
Yeah, and a couple of years in a row, Eric, like I did that in the main, where I was kind of playing like that. Oh my gosh, it's just so exhausting. I literally had a day in the main one time where every time I put a chip into the pot, I was I was I was playing for all of my chips. Like, it was like, they had figured out I was playing super tight, and playing with Lex Velhouse one time got me into the idea that maybe there's a different way to look at things. So um, yeah, so the daily. Let me see here.
Well, yeah, I guess the point is if you're going to play this mystery bounty people, which I think is still 2 more days or 3 more days of entries, you got to play it like you're playing for the bounty and not for the tournament.
Yeah, there's an 11 a.m. Daily at the World Series, at the Horseshoe or whatever it's called these days. $100 buy-in, starting up here at 11 a.m. Let me just scan through. Then the 1 p.m. 250 that we mentioned. That usually draws the most players.
Is that a $200 plus $50 fee?
No,
I don't know.
straight to.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
probably. I
That's a
haven't
No,
looked
lot.
at
Doesn't that
the
seem like a lot?
structure.
I don't know exactly what it is. I need to look at it and actually make
Yeah,
sure.
I didn't look at the structure.
And then the
Pull.
one thing I didn't hear Brian or you, Sherry, mention yet, are they already running main event satellites? So yet?
No,
Not
no.
yet. Okay.
Here, let me look at when that starts.
Because I think those are $500 buy-ins usually in the evening. I think, does that sound right? 500 and like
Yeah,
1 out of 20 gets a seat.
They're doing 580 to win 5,000 in chips. So basically, you get casino chips, and they
Okay, so
started.
you do get money. So it's 580, and that's starting now, Raj, so that you can go play that over there now. Not now, but
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
7 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah,
At what time?
7 tonight.
I
7.
feel like if you don't have a
Okay.
huge bankroll and you're not trying to win a bracelet, I feel like play like 2 weeks straight of those. You could probably win some cash.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
now going back to you asking about the main event Saturdays. So July the 3rd through July the 8th, it's $1,100 buy-in at 8 a.m. And they're going to give away multiples of 10,000 in casino value chips. And then they're going to have single table flips for entries into the main event, which will also start July the 2nd and will be run based on demand every day until registration closes on July the 8th at the end of level 7 break. Single table flips for the Flip and Go presented by GG Poker will be available starting July the 13th and will
Oh wow.
will run based on demand until registration for the Flip and Go closes on July the 14th.
Now, Sherry and Eric and Raja, let me ask you a question. Are those flips Alan Kessler approved or no?
I
I doubt
doubt
it.
it.
Doubtful.
Alan Kessler would be the one guy to fold somehow.
Can you? Poor Alan. I love him. I love him. Yeah.
Oh, Eric, you're so funny.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to talk about the mystery bounty. So I've never played a mystery bounty. I'm gonna go sign up. I got a couple of meetings, so I'll be able to buy in at around 1:00, 12:30, 1:00 here. And I was looking yesterday. It looks like they had 2,200 entries. Only 100 made it. So it's just basically a turbo. It seems like. So it's just luck of the draw, right? I mean, I'm not really. Is there any strategies thing?
Let me pull it up here. And
2,200 and only 100 moved on.
Yeah, only 100. I think maybe 200 got cash, but yeah, only 100. I mean, it's.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
gonna buy in once or twice, but that's probably it because it seems.
so
What
yeah.
are the blind levels?
So
Time.
you get 40,000 in chips with 30-minute levels, and
Oh,
the blinds start off at a 200 ante with 100 and 200 blinds, and like I said, 40,000 in chips. So yeah, I mean it moves kind of quick. Let me see here.
Average.
Late, yeah, 20.
Average.
They play 22 levels, so by the end of the day, they were at 30,000 ante with 15,000 and 30,000 blinds. So yeah, moves
30, 15, 30. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So to get through, you have to get through that level to make day two. So
And
it was
My
Dan
funny.
Dan
starting
Cole
stack
Points
though,
has 2
40
million
close.
chips.
Oh wow, nice.
You said Dan Coleman.
Cole Poise, Vegas
Oh,
Pig.
okay. I was gonna say.
Oink, oink.
So going back to Raj's question about should he play it differently or how he should play it, what do you got for him, software?
Well, here's the thing: is there's one rebuy, and you have multiple flights every day from now until Saturday. So
Yeah, 4 flights, I think.
the $1,000 buy-in for some people might, well, people coming in, they're at the beginning of the series, they got plenty of cash, so they're, they're
Right.
probably going to be firing somewhat. I mean, you're not going to have people just like going in, with just nothing, but certainly people are going to be bluffing like crazy, and stuff like that. So you might be able to catch somebody, I think, but it's a balance, right? Like you can't just sit there because the blinds are going to be going up quite a
Well,
bit,
and some
pretty quick.
people are going to have multiple bullets because they're going to fire off just to try to get a bounty, right?
Yeah, because
So
they call it EV. The expected
yeah,
value is higher when you have more bounties
exactly.
because you have a chance at the million.
The
Yeah,
only good thing is
exactly.
you only one
Bounty until
re-entry
day
per.
2. There's no bounties till day 2. That's
Yeah,
how they're
day
able to
two.
make
Yeah, but
like
you
$1 million
can enter
bounties.
every day one though. You can enter just 4 day ones.
Say
Well,
that
no, I
again,
know,
Eric.
but I'm saying you can't get a bounty until day 2. So like you
Yeah,
just
but
have to have
I
a
know, but
massive stack.
but you got to get the chip. We talk about you got to get chips though. You can't just sit there
Stack
and blind out.
chips.
Yeah, you have to have chips, so on
True.
day two you can get some bounties.
It's difficult
uh,
to prevent them from being extracted though when the
Yeah,
blinds are
like
going
okay,
up
and they're
like
saying
five.
normally making day 2 is like a thing, right? You want to make day 2, but in this case, you only want to make day 2 with a lot of chips. Otherwise, you're basically giving up a shit ton of value.
Yeah, because people are going to call you with like 2-9 offsuit when you shove 12 bigs.
When you have aces and they have kings, you don't cover them, and that also happens a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
and last year the first place was 750,000, whereas they guaranteed $1 million bounty in there. But this year they finally, they straightened that out. So first place is guaranteed $1 million, and then the bounty of $1 million.
Oh, good. Yeah,
So
I didn't know that. That's a great idea, by the way. That's
so
Nice.
that is good. But remember, when this prize pool comes out on Sunday, you're going to have a lot of people that start complaining about the wonky
top heavy,
prize
too top
jumps.
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh, it's too top heavy, and it's like, okay, well, you got to pick your poison there. I didn't think it looked right for somebody to come up and pull the lottery win and win more than the person that got the bracelet, but That's just me. So I think that the thing is, like, if you come into that event and, you kind of got to make sure, like, I never like going down right away, like down in chips, like that just sucks. You're in this kind of fast paced structure and you're digging out of a hole. It's, I don't know, it seems even more difficult than anything else. So, you're going to have people that know that they have 2 entries today, 2 entries tomorrow, and 2 entries on Sunday or Saturday to get through. And, so those people may be playing a little looser, for sure,
Hey, Brian, what do you think about this? I mean, I don't know if it draws the amount of crowd, but I think splitting that up, what is the second biggest bounty you can get, actually, when you pull the envelope? What's the second?
The second
Highest
big
one.
bounty. Yeah. I
Okay,
don't,
well, while you're looking, I guess what I'll say, I think it'd be great if they split that up into 10 envelopes of $100,000. 10 people, you buy in a 1K event and you have a 10 people at least get 100,000. That would be
yeah.
freaking amazing. I'd love to get that. That would pay for a lot of tournaments all summer.
Yeah, exactly.
That was what I was gonna say, because like $1 million is just ridiculously exorbitant. You know what I mean? If you 100x your buy-in for picking the right envelope, and 10 people get to do that instead of one.
Yeah,
Spread
exactly.
it around. Spread it around.
Let me see here. Let me see if they have it here.
Eric, are you playing today? Poker Pro Eric?
No, I'm not PetSmart right now.
There you go.
Love it.
Everybody just says the million prizes.
While you're doing that, I'm going to say hello to Miss Donna. We were on a space earlier today. I'm glad you're not burning the chicken today, love.
Awesome.
I don't think they disclose what the other ones are, Eric. They're probably going to be 250.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see them here, but I think you guys are right. Like, my thing in general is, these buy-ins and are so low, and then first prize, should be pretty high for a World Series event, but in general, it's like, you get through the Colossus and you're like 30th, and you're getting, probably far less than I feel like you should. But that's kind of poker, and that's the hard part. If you're coming and you're playing a full schedule and you're min cashing, you're likely losing um, um, quite a bit, because you've got to be able to make it to the end at least a few times in the summer, to be able to do pretty well, like, and by the end, I mean, top, final 3 or 4 tables,
Right.
that kind of thing. But if you're constantly min cashing, it's hard to even cover all the travel and all of that kind of stuff. So, there's the other side of that too, which is like, I'm just here. This is my thing that I like to do for the summer. I bring the money. Very important that I'm comfortable with losing. I'm not coming here hoping to, crash on somebody's couch for a couple of weeks and get somebody else to pay for my food, and then I saw one yesterday. Whoever that was, I can't remember, was going to sell a car, and
Oh God, yeah, I saw it too. I was like, no, let's not do that. If you got to sell your car to go to Vegas, your priorities are a little messed up.
So
well, what if you got a really good deal on it, Sherry? Come on.
I made him specify. He's like, "This is my extra car. I don't really use it."
Oh, I didn't see that part. Okay,
all right,
okay.
all right,
Yeah, no problem.
That's just shifting your resources around.
Yeah, 100%. But if you're doing it as your only car just to go to play the WSOP, yeah, let's rethink that, okay?
For those of you that weren't up late, Poker Pro Eric joined the mutiny in Sean Deeb's space last night.
The what?
The mutiny. It's funny. I said that just before.
Oh, did y'all all kiss and make up last night? I missed it.
Well,
No,
no,
no, no.
actually, they were talking about you, Sherry.
Here I
They were.
am.
Yeah, I heard. I talked to. I guess someone told me Joshua Macchiello was asking about you, actually by name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Joshua didn't know things what would have happened, so he was asking about Sherry. He's like, "Well, where's Sherry? What I want to talk to Sherry. Where's she at?"
Well, I said on Sean Deep's thing, I said, Eden is whatever. He's like really annoying sometimes, but I don't wish, anything bad about or anything like that. But where he stepped over the line was when he, started talking to Sherry like that. Like, like I don't even.
When he did the mutiny, you mean?
Yeah, I don't even understand somebody that that does that, and he hopefully he straightens his life out. I'm not optimistic. So
Well, what better place to straighten someone's life out than Las Vegas, like the city of
than
sin,
Las
right? What better
than,
place?
than Las Vegas.
I was just about to say, like, this is going to be a complete disaster because it's easy for him to be like without a video, like talking until he passes out. But how are you going to compose yourself when literally the entire poker world is like, oh, who is that's the guy? You know what I mean? Like, he's going to fall apart for sure, sadly.
Yeah,
Smoking, drinking, gambling, women. That's going to be a awesome time.
yeah,
Not to mention,
I
Sean
think
Deeb
we
just
have.
saved $5,000 because he's definitely going to be smoking cigarettes all
Oh
the way
yeah,
to the casino.
some woman's going to line up next to him on a slot machine, like, "Hey, you want to smoke?" Sure.
so yeah, the the train wreck is imminent. Hopefully not, but hopefully they somehow avoid it. I did want to say that you know I I think it's important to constantly remind people that there's a lot of people that are playing poker that you know are being irresponsible and that sort of thing, and as I want to make sure
Airball.
that I don't contribute to that with some bullshit story that I'm here to play a full schedule like I do every year, and I'm just like this big, awesome poker player, and this kind of thing. Like, you got to realize, it was funny. I was talking to somebody that you all would know last year, and they were saying that we were having late dinner with somebody that makes documentaries. There's somebody that like is around the poker community, but their work is doing documentaries in other things.
Right.
And so this person, this pro that we were having dinner with, was telling the documentary person, what you need to do is make like a real poker documentary. And what he meant by that was, how many people that you see on TV that are, playing with money that they don't have, that actually have a kind of a problem. And I don't think that's talked about enough, in that this dream is sold on TV, certainly years ago, probably more than it is now. That all these people have millions of dollars and all of this stuff, and the reality of it, even somebody like Ari Engel, who travels, he was saying the other night, I don't even have a house, I don't have a mortgage, haven't had any of that stuff. And the reason is he's traveling the circuit. And I'm not trying to say that I have no idea how much money he makes or doesn't make, but the costs of doing that are enormous, of staying in hotels all the time, and airfare and all of the other things that go along with it.
Well,
And
say, Brian, I think that was the allure to me about like online poker. People talk about the ease of it. I don't even know it was the ease. It was like, I'm a single guy. I have no kids or attachments really, so I can travel. A lot of people can that are poker players, but
yeah,
online you don't have to pay for flight, pay for hotel, pay for the food on the road. That was the big difference to me, was that how does that work with taxes, by the way? Anyone know, Sherry? Like, don't be fooled by the screen name. I'm
Yeah.
not technically a professional. If you're not a professional and that's not your full-time job, can you write off a trip to Las Vegas as like a business expense
Yes.
or no?
Yes.
You can't,
Yes.
even if you're an amateur. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. As
I,
long as you're
I,
claiming that profession, then you have to present your wins
Well,
and
no,
losses.
that's what I just said.
that's the
Yep.
question. Yeah.
I'm not a
I think
professional poker
Sherry's
player. I
answering it
play
wrong.
poker a lot, okay? But if
You
I
know,
fly to Vegas for a week, can I write that hotel expense off while I play poker?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I am trying to answer your question. Because some of my friends actually, I've asked them about it,
Yeah.
and and it is, you have to, keep track of your receipts for your entries, your wins and your losses, and you have to keep track of your hotel stays, your food, whatever you do on that business trip. Because if you're a pro player and you go to that tournament, you're going there on business because
But
that's your
Sherry,
business.
the key is if you're not a pro, if you're a rec player,
Yeah,
which
it's Sherry. It's the second time,
you know,
Sherry, you said pro player. I'm saying if you're not a pro player, but you're going there with the intent to win money and invest your money, does that count as a business trip?
Um, I'm going to say no, but I'm not a tax accountant.
and I think that's my understanding of it as well. You certainly want to talk to your tax person, but here's the other thing, Eric, is like I would be talking to my tax person about, especially like I just play the World Series, so it's whatever. But I would be talking to my tax person about, um, how that's determined that I'm a pro poker player or not. I would imagine it has to do with income, but
I mean, it's pretty simple.
but
I don't know why people makes it big. Like Ari Engel doesn't have a house. He says that he travels from stop to stop around the circuit, the World Series. Like
yeah,
that clearly is not an issue with him.
right. Right. So, but where is that line? Is the line simply that I have all of my stuff kind of documented very well? And again, I don't claim that I don't know what my tax guy does, but I don't know that he claims me as a poker pro or however all of that works. But definitely, the big thing is those expenses and stuff like that. And then I believe that anybody can write off, their buy-ins versus their profits. But
Well, yeah,
but it,
it's only they only want
yeah,
the profit income. Yeah, they're not going to charge you for your buy-ins and stuff. But I think it's awful that someone like Ari, who is a great player, I don't want to know how much he spends. I just want the dream of knowing how much he wins, because if you
uh,
find out how much some of these guys spend on travel, it would make you never want to play poker on the road again, probably.
yeah. And for anybody that listens to this, none of us are tax people. So, obviously your tax situation is yours. But my thing is, I think Ari would be a clear definition of somebody that's a pro without any kind of way of somebody coming back later on and saying he wasn't.
Well, no, I'm
And
not arguing whether he's a pro. I'm arguing whether
yeah,
he doesn't have a house. Even he says I asked him directly when we talked to him. He doesn't have
yeah,
a house or a residence at
yeah.
all.
So in that case, my belief is all of his expenses when he's, you know, traveling and playing tournaments and all of that, I would imagine are deductible. But the weird thing, Eric, is I don't know if he has to say, hey, there's a certain amount of this that's like, okay, he doesn't have a home, so where's your expenses that you paid for your mortgage or something like that?
Well, he doesn't have. Yeah, he doesn't have that. But like, how about this? Every time he goes to the cafe on break, I think that's a business lunch. I
It
think you
is
write that off. Yeah, it's a business.
100%,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
100%.
Well, he doesn't probably get 100%. He probably gets
No,
50%.
no, no, no.
Because
100% he can write it
It
off.
was
because
don't mess
meals
with
and
her.
entertainment are 50%.
Don't mess with her.
Believe. So yeah, that it is a thing. I would encourage people, just like we heard these knuckleheads talking the other night, that the poker Karen decided to come out and cause that whole controversy. Regardless, always always
Yeah.
pay taxes on what you're doing. I even when there was online, all that stuff was outside the country, and there were plenty of people that just figured they weren't ever going to get caught or something. I don't know, but like I always paid taxes on that money because I always assumed, that at some point it would be taxed,
Yeah.
but you know, but that's just the thing.
All right,
So
this is getting boring enough. I gotta ask. Raja just posted a pinned a tweet. Not as exciting as mine, but Raja, is that I gotta admit I am blocked not by Ben's. Who is Ben's replying to? Is it the official WSOP?
Yeah, so WSOP put their format for
Okay,
the.
yeah, I pissed them off a while ago. They blocked me. So thank you.
Okay,
Okay, yeah,
so then, I think you guys know about Ben's. He was the one that offered
yeah,
Will
the
100.
100K, yeah.
So he said, anyone want a steak? And sounds like 2 or 3 people got in. One of them, Beans, got in. So it looks like Beans was staked for a 50-50 for the mystery bounty today. So I don't know if Ben's followed through, but he did follow up with 2 or 3 people and said, hey, okay, I'll stake you for 50-50. So definitely anyone here that want to play, that want to get staked, definitely follow him. And you never know.
Well, Raja, what do you think about this? Is this one of the best tournaments you want to stake somebody in? Because all they have to do is knock somebody out on day 2, and you got a shot as a backer to win $1 million, or to $500,000, I
Oh,
guess.
definitely. I think
Right. So yeah, like you don't even need to stake good players. You just need to stake anyone that knocks somebody out. That's all you got to stake. Yeah.
Yeah, just got to get someone that's lucky to get through day 1, and you might get a 25.
Correct. Yeah. Anyone that's on day 2, basically. Yep.
But no, definitely follow him, and he might have some more stakes tomorrow or Saturday. So
So how did Beans get the stake? I'm looking here. He replied and said me or what?
yeah,
I
he
don't
was
see
just
him
one
here.
of the, I think he was the third guy that replied. So
Oh, it's not a contest. Oh, it's only 3.
no,
Okay.
no, it's whoever replied first, second, third, and that's who got it. So
That's fucking. So how does he do this? So like, how does he even know if you're in Vegas? I guess is the question. I don't know
well,
how that works.
a couple of people said yes, but he was like, "Well, are you in Vegas?" They're like, "No, we can get there." He's like, "No, it's only if you're able to play today." So I think he kind of
Well,
made
like,
that.
I guess what I'm asking, do you know how he verifies? Do you have to buy him?
Uh, I don't know. We'll see.
Because that's crazy. Because otherwise, I would just lie and be like, "Yeah, I'm in Vegas." And he sends you $5,000.
Been following for quite a bit. I mean, he's always done, $20, $30, $40 type stakes, but
Yeah.
this is a big one, 500 or 1,000 really, and he's going 50-50. So I don't know how he's going to verify, but
But
good
how do
for
you
him.
verify you even played? I guess is the point. Yeah. I wonder.
But
well,
I gotta get
I
WSOP to
I
unblock me, though.
I
This
don't
is
know if it's
bullshit.
too late, but I threw my hat in the ring for sure. I don't know anybody else.
Well, Brian, there's still multiple days left of it. It's not over yet. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're good. Yeah.
let's go.
Hey, good luck.
But yeah, I'll take a free share. As I said earlier, I'll take a free roll, any free roll.
Well, speaking of 50% and staking, Brian, I was listening earlier. You didn't mention that. I'm happy for him, but I'm also sad for him. Our friend P Man, who got second, we talked about. He actually sold 50% of his action online on Josh Aryeh's site.
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
So he won 46,000, but he didn't win 46,000. He won 23,000.
Am I the only one here that loves going back? Like somebody makes the final table and you go back through the main event and you go back through their tweets and you see them like a week before, like begging people for a steak.
Exactly. Yep.
Love it. I
Well, it's
love that.
$10,000, but yeah, I just feel bad for that because I'm happy for him because he didn't win a bracelet though, so that's the one unfortunate thing. He only got second, but he gets
20 grand.
23,000. The investors are the real winners because they only put up a few bucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Like
you get
like
one
the
out.
guy that made the final table a couple years ago, where I had a 2% stake, and then last year I sent him a text at the beginning of the series. I said, "Hey, we do that thing where I send you 200 some odd dollars and you send me 20 grand again?" I love that.
P-Man
So,
got outer too. I think he had jacks against eights, and
oh
the guy.
yeah,
So I think he was
Yeah, that
actually
was
one.
I was with like 7 or 8 people left, so it wasn't. He would have had a big stack. It wasn't over, but yeah, he would have. He would. Also, when you get to heads up, though, it doesn't matter if you're behind or ahead in chips usually, so you still could have won it. But I think second was awesome, except for the fact again, it always sucks when you're like in a small tournament. I don't know his personal finances, guys, but I'm sure he can afford $500 buy-in by himself.
Yeah, I wonder, did he post a package? Is that why it's part of the package? Maybe is that
I don't
how
know
it got?
because again, the employee event is one of the few events that it's almost free money if you're any good because literally half the field is like, even though they're like work at casinos, they have no idea how tournament poker works.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
it's like
is Bobby
if
not?
you're any good, you shouldn't even sell action honestly an employee event. You should sell action
Bobby's
other.
not. Bobby's not in here, is he? Because
He
you know,
cashed.
I'm gonna say something like my experience is dealers think they can play, but they're like the
Well, I guess
worst.
what I'm saying, a lot of dealers know how to play poker. They deal cash games all day long, but a
Yeah,
lot of them don't really understand tournament strategy. So I'd say again, I've never met P-Man in person, but if you're a solid tournament player, your EV plus is very plus 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 in a 1,000-person tournament because 500 of them don't really know what the hell they're doing.
wow, that is crazy, Raja. 2,000 started and only 100 remain. What a
I
blood.
know.
Ari Engel, my friend, were your ears twitching or what, my friend? Good to see you down there. Feel free to request.
Ari, can you come talk to us? We got some questions. We don't want
Yeah,
to know your personal business, but we just have some general tax questions for somebody that would be in your situation. And again, we don't want your personal business, just some general information, sir, if you could come up.
there you are. So, Ari, are you there? Oh, wait a second. I know sometimes it cuts out.
The
Yeah.
suitcase has arrived.
All right.
You're sort of there.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm at breakfast now and kind of loud and people around, but I'll do a brief convo. Was just planning on listening in.
Now, Ari, is that breakfast tag? No, I'm just kidding. So the question kind of is like, and everybody, I'll just preface this with Ari and myself and anybody else talking. We're not tax people. We're not talking about anybody's specific taxes or anything like that. But just in general, do you know, like, as far as there, I believe there's some kind of line with taxes and what you can deduct and things like that. First off, between being a pro and not being a pro,
That's correct. Yeah.
right? And if you are a pro, then you can deduct all of your like expenses and things like that. How does that work exactly?
Yeah, basically what you said. If you are a pro, you get to deduct travel expenses, of course, all your buy-ins and gambling related, profits and losses. I think food is like there's like a daily per diem or something like that. Look, I have a really great accountant. I highly recommend him. He's a poker specialist. Ross Fox is his name, and I believe he was on the Sean Deed space. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that got recorded or not, but he's amazing. He's really good, and knows what's up. And supposedly, I had no idea about this, but supposedly the IRS actually um, comes to him to like help clarify gambling related situations.
Yeah, and he sounds like he I heard him on that space actually a little bit, and it sounded like he was pretty careful about making sure, like Sean was asking him some of the different things that is this deductible or is that, and he was saying yes to this or
Yeah,
or
yeah.
no
I
to
guess
this,
I guess the massages are not deductible. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the thing that he was saying, which actually kind of surprised me. I wanted to ask him if a massage, okay, so a massage isn't, but is physical therapy, right? Like or something. If I go to a physical therapist, is that deductible? It's kind of funny to think through that kind of thing, but I liked that he did sound, and if you get a chance, and you can tag him in the space for people that do that. It sounded like he was like the guy that understood how to do poker taxes and stuff like that, because it definitely sounds like it's a little bit
And
different.
just all my interactions with him, I would just call him a mensch. He's really been there.
I don't need to go into the details, but I've just been very impressed with him. Obviously, like the poker tax work,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. Like, I just trust him. He has a good reputation. But in the actual, like, personal and just dealings with him, he's been really good.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you got to have somebody, you know, that you A, trust, but B, you know, isn't going to be like trying
Yeah,
to
and,
do things that are going to cause you problems down the line, you know?
yeah.
So, what do you plan today, Ari?
Most likely mystery bounty. I never have a schedule, and I just wake up and see what I want to play. I do enjoy PLO a lot, and there is a half, no limit half PLO, 5K. It's a little bit on the higher side, but the mystery bounty, that is an insane tournament, and so many people will be in it. I think that's the move for me.
I really blew it yesterday. I had a guy shoved all in on the turn on me in obviously no limit hold'em, and I didn't ask him until after the call, after the hand. But I'm like, what do you guys do? You play PLO? And he's like, oh, I love PLO. And then I was like, oh man, I can't believe I folded there. So
Well, thank
crazy.
you, Ari. We appreciate you answering those
No worries, Harry.
questions.
Yeah. Does
Good luck,
anybody
bud.
have any other questions for Ari
No,
or
no more. Let him. This audio's not worth it, Brian.
let let
Let's let him go. It's not
let
worth it.
let him go?
All
All
right,
right,
all the
all
best.
right.
See you guys.
Well, have a good luck
Okay,
today, my
thanks.
friend. I love that he uses the word mensch. So, Raja, you got anything?
Yeah, my meeting got canceled, so I'm gonna go buy in right now. So
Yes. Good luck, bud.
Okay, we expect updates, my friend, and run up that stat.
well, if I'm let's see, what is it? So I think they're I'll get in on level 1 or level 2, so that's not too bad. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we expect Twitter Spaces updates during hands. Thank you.
Yeah,
during it.
during hands.
Right
Yeah,
after you check your
we'll put it in the
RTA.
And
thing.
if
We'll
they
put it.
ask if you're using a solver, just say no. Brian's not that smart.
I'm using
Yeah,
Twitter assistant, you know.
yeah. They should encourage me to be the solver.
Well,
Yeah,
let's see. I'm gonna try out this Bravo app, see if it works in the fast track. So hopefully it works. I don't have to stand in line. That'd be nice. So
Well, let us know, give us a line update. If we're still live, if you could give us a line update, that'd be amazing.
no, I'm
yeah.
gonna I'll do that. I'm gonna buy it on the app or on the online and go to the fast track. But if that doesn't work, I'll go to Paris to get a line update.
Okay,
Hey,
thanks.
can you register for all the satellites on Fast Track, even like the $100 satellite? Is that way you do it? Anyone know?
Yeah, you can, but
Yeah.
they don't show up until like a couple hours before. But technically, you can register for satellites. And but the good thing this year is I played a satellite last night, and you can buy in directly to the satellite on the horseshoe side because all the satellites are on the horseshoe. There's 2 or 3 cages there so you don't have to deal with the main Paris registration if you want to just register for satellites this year.
Yeah, they weren't doing that on the first day, so that's good to hear.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, for sure. Because I was like, why do you have
Where
this
are
cage?
those? Hey, where are those cages located?
They're right
Yeah,
at
right.
the entrance.
Yeah, right at the entrance.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for that update because I didn't know that was going on, and that's huge.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that they've moved that stuff over there, and then they're going to have other stuff all the way. The Modfather, what's up? You don't have to raise your hand here. We're not going to kick you off as long as you're not annoying.
What's
No.
up, Modfather?
Hey guys, just letting you know that cage is open like 24/7. So, like if you're like me and you're a late night person, you can roll in there at 3 a.m. and register for whatever you want to register for. You don't have to, you avoid all the lines, and that's just a good tip as well.
Just think about the comparison of that versus like 2008 or 2009 at the Rio. They had like lines 24 hours a day, is like such an improvement over the years. So, I mean, obviously the game changer is being able to, register on your phone or whatever. And fortunately, they made that cheap enough that it's not a big deal. Although I don't really know, I haven't registered for an event. I've only registered for satellites at the cage because I wasn't able to. I don't know. Something's weird with my account. So let me tell you this story. It's kind of weird. I went to register yesterday, and the buy-in from the day before hadn't been subtracted from my account. So I'm probably a little too honest sometimes. So so I actually, even afterwards, I was telling Jack, like, you may want to check this because I don't really understand how the buy-in from yesterday still didn't technically come out of my account.
Yeah,
Right.
it's because they had a glitch. I saw that as well. It's because they had a glitch on the Bravo app, so that's probably what caused that.
Yeah, it was weird, but like,
Yeah,
literally, like, I went to the cage yesterday and the number that they had in there was not correct. It was too much, so I was like, oh my gosh. But I don't want them to get to the end of the World Series and find out they didn't they didn't take anything out of anybody's account, and now they're just gonna close up for
Imagine the shit
forever.
show that would be.
Unbelievable. I'm sure it was something like what you said, something to do with the day one kind of stuff. They're always shaking the cobwebs off and all of that on day one. So I'm sure they'll, take it out today or whatever. But that is a good reason to keep track of, your account on your own, so that you can, make sure that things are correct. The other thing, speaking of on your own, like we talked about yesterday, if these big events, if this is your first time coming to the World Series, um, nothing is worse than going on break and forgetting where your table is. And then the other thing is, I never trust when somebody's going to do a color up and come around. I never trust them to do it right. So I always sit there, and no matter, the dealer will sometimes, because what happens is that the floors put pressure on the dealers to get players out of the area as soon as they can. And they want to get them out of the area, especially even during a color up, because they want to be able to move around and not, and just having people around there while they're doing that isn't a great thing from probably a security perspective. That said, if somebody's going to be going into your stack, in general, you always have the right to witness it.
absolutely.
So I
Yep,
I have been I have been refused before, maybe like once, but the vast majority of the time, you know, don't be a jerk, but very politely, just tell the dealer what you're trying to do. And if they are insistent, then, nicely ask for a floor person to come and let you know what to do, because I believe that you should be allowed to witness if anytime anybody's going to go into your chips. Now, that can still happen at any time during a break. Unfortunately, a floor man comes around, you have a lot of small denomination chips. Even after the color up of the small denomination chips, they'll oftentimes be trying to color up different people. I don't love that, but that's why I always try to remember to take a picture of my chips. And unless I have very few, then I'm kind of hopeful they give me a few extra or something. But but
What I'd
but
like to add to that, because I too take a picture of my chips, is anybody that's going for the first time, there are, I think, 700 or 800 tables in the one room, right? Um, Remember your table number. Take a picture of your table number, maybe also, but don't take a picture of the dealer because that dealer could change
Oh yeah, for sure.
when you're on the break. And so
Yeah.
who's in the box doesn't matter. The table number matters.
Yeah,
So
or that dealer could be off, you know.
right.
Fortunately, a lot of times when they do move, well, I don't know that they move during the breaks though very
Hey Brian,
regularly.
sorry, quick
Yeah.
update.
Yeah.
I was able to sign up for a ticket on Bravo online, got my ticket on the Fast Track app registration thing, so everything's working pretty good.
And
Sweet.
Raja, what did it charge you?
$3. So last night
$3.
when I deposited money into my TBIC account. So for the first timers, you can go into the Paris Cage, deposit money, and make sure you ask them to verify your account because you need to get verified so you can print your tickets on the Fast Track kiosk.
How many machine kiosks are there where you are? How many are there?
On the horseshoe side, there's like six or seven.
Okay.
And
And
then
and the other thing, when you set up your TBIC, you got it's a minimum of 2,500.
Yep. And then another tip, I'm staying at the horseshoe, so if you want to get on the horseshoe side, I would, suggest you register a little bit after tournament starts because that's where the overflow goes. So I got into the horseshoe orange section. So
Now,
it's nice.
Raja, is it true that we're all allowed to use your shower after we bust out?
If I'm not in the room, sure.
All right, sweet.
I guess
Even
I'm not
Snoop
telling
Dogg?
anybody else.
Also, don't forget, I know Kev Bath has said this a few times. I've said it a few times. There's 3 copies. There's 3 copies. The most important one to wait for is the 3rd copy
Oh,
because that's the one that allows you to
yeah.
sit down. If you walk off after 2 copies thinking that's all it prints and you're going to be stuck trying to get, and it's just a big hassle. Make sure you wait to get the 3rd copy. That's the most important one. Tell them, Ari.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. That's a great point.
Yeah. I think the first time I used it, I almost did that. I was like, where's my dealer copy here?
Shouldn't they switch the order then? Shouldn't the first one be the dealer copy then?
We already brought that up, Eric. I already brought that up to Jack. I already brought that up to everybody you can think of. And I guess it's just too late to do that kind of switch, I guess, or something. So, yeah, but I did bring that up, Eric.
Yeah, it was that thing.
I take pictures of all my copies and send them to myself just so there's a record. And then also, it's a really good idea, like you guys said, to take a picture of your table. But a big one is if you did rent a car or if you're driving a car, take a picture of your spot in the parking lot. That's also really hard.
I know that's right.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go back off. Got the background noise.
Bringing up the parking lot, like when it's fortunate now, Sherry, that they have these accounts that your money's held in, but I don't know if the criminals have caught up to the idea that people are probably carrying a lot less cash on average these days, but always be careful in the parking garages and stuff like that. I haven't
And
heard
don't
of
be afraid to ask for an escort. I don't care who you are.
Well, that's true as well.
That happened
Especially
to
if
me. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian. I apologize.
especially if you chop a tournament and decide to like not pay out the chop, like make sure you get an escort to the parking lot. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
That happened to me once. I
I
thought
want
I
to
was.
go back. Go ahead.
I've been to Vegas
go
so
ahead.
many times. I've been to Vegas so many times in my life. I don't know how many times. I've always told myself that'll never happen to me. It happened to me at Mandalay Bay. I was doing something at Mandalay Bay. I was eating or something, and I literally got a little too drunk, and I could not find my car. And it was like this. It was crazy. I mean, because they make these parking garages. Of course, they do color coded on some of them, but some of them just every floor looks every level looks identical. So it's really hard.
And
to
when you have a rental car,
find
I've
yourself.
had it where I don't even
Yeah,
know what kind of car I have. So I don't know what I'm
yeah,
looking for.
exactly.
This sounds
Yeah,
like an episode of Seinfeld or something.
yeah. Or you rent the car. Ari's right. You rent the car at night. You never see the car in the daytime. It's like, what am I even driving? It's a good point.
Can I just say, like, I saw a little clip just now of Negranu's vlog intro or whatever, but I just gotta say, like, back in the day, Negranu was like probably one of the people that really drew me into poker. And then he went through this time where like he like totally annoyed me, like, and stuff like that. But I always did have respect for him. And like, I don't know, but since the guy got married, like he's just like back to the old dude. Like I agree. I find myself agreeing with him a lot more. He was never like, even when I disagreed with him, he was never somebody that I like didn't like or whatever. But and always had respect for. But I just think it's funny, like he feels like he's like back to the old guy, you know, like, and it's pretty cool to see. So
Yeah, he's back to being grounded, and his head's not back in the clouds, it's back on earth. But I just
Yeah.
wanted to go back to
Go ahead.
remembering the table you left when you go on a break. And the reason why I said, whoever's in the box doesn't matter, don't take their picture, because that person may not be there when you come from back from the break. At the WSOP circuit event at Harris Cherokee, a gentleman returned to his table and played
oh jeez,
some hands
oh my goodness,
before they realized he was at the wrong seat.
yeah, that is really bad.
Yeah, and so let me tell you, it was a mess. And so, it doesn't matter who's in the box, and when the time is right, they may have to change the dealer. And so, remember the table number.
How did
Remember the
they
table number.
how did they sort that out, Sherry? Did they go to the video surveillance and see how many hands they played, or how did they
Okay.
sort that out?
Okay, so I don't have personal firsthand knowledge, but what I heard was that they did go back to the film, which was kind of hard to do because back when this happened, that circuit event was held in the auditorium that they use for concerts. And so the ceilings in that room, I don't know how high they are, 50, 60 feet. I don't know. I'm not a good judge of distance, so the cameras are not going to be really that focused, or how do you say it, zoomed in, so to speak. And so it was a mess. I just remember it being a mess, and people talking about, did they get it right when they cleaned up the mess? People weren't sure they got it right, and the guy came out and said, he just said, I just sat at that table because that's the dealer I left. I mean, he flat out said that publicly. And it was a mess. It was definitely a mess.
I want to know what some of these
Yeah, I'd say
people are.
the issue
I
there,
want to know what
Sherry,
some of
is
these
like
people
you
are smoking on their breaks to not know what they're at.
yeah, well, but Jimmy, how about you asked how they solve it? You could go back and look at cameras and give the original player the amount of chips they deserve or whatever. But how do you? There's already been action. Other players have lost hands. Other players have won hands. The most famous
Yeah,
example I
exactly.
remember was a couple years ago. A woman sat down in the wrong tournament. So there was like a $20,000 high roller happening next to a $500
Yep.
low roller, and she busted like two players in the high roller before they realized she was not supposed to be in the high roller. She was supposed to be in the $500. How do
Yep.
you deal with the two people she already busted out?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
quite a
that's
mess.
crazy. That'd be crazy for sure. I'm not sure how they would figure that out, Eric.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, that's why now when you sit at a table that the dealers, have been pounded into the dealers' heads, you better match that ticket with their IDs. Like, no questions asked. Like, there's no gray area. I don't care if you think you know the person, you better be matching the names.
Well, no, sure. That was the issues we're talking about, though, Sherry, are not the wrong ID. It's the wrong tables, basically. They're at
No,
the
but
wrong.
it was the wrong tournament. I mean, they have to check that receipt for the name and the tournament, right? To make sure that person's in the right place.
Yeah,
Because it
that's
would have.
pretty hard to come back. Well, your example, you came back from break and somebody was playing the wrong stack, and they're like, "Oh, I like that dealer." That was the dealer I remember. That's a funny one.
Yeah, crazy. And when he came out publicly, I was like, I don't even know if I would have said that publicly. I get how it happens, because you do. You're sitting at that table. You're like, okay, Joey the dealer was there. You go on
I
break
mean,
and you come back.
why not just tell the truth and said, "I went to the biggest stack I could find."
That sounds like a good plan. What about that guy last year that was doing the color up that we talked about? That's crazy. That drug all the chips in the middle of the table.
Could
Yeah,
you
I was
imagine
actually I
returning?
was trying to find that tweet to pin, Brian, but I found the one I just pinned. You see, was even better. Maybe it was Alan Kessler complaining about it.
Oh my goodness, poor Alan.
It
Could
was
you
five
imagine being
five
the
6 years
chip
ago. But
leader? Can you imagine being the chip leader at that table and coming back and seeing those stacks of colored chips? Oh my God. Oh,
But I think again, the issue there was because it was a dealer error. It was actually somewhat, I don't want to say easy to fix, but it was logistically possible to fix it. But if somebody plays your stack and knocks out other players, or they knock you out, then logistically there's nothing you can do.
of course. Of course.
Yeah, so
Totally
I think they did
different.
figure it out last year. But the Alan Kessler's one, he says, this is how the World Series of Poker does a big color up when players are not present. So I don't know what is Alan saying here. Can you explain, Brian? What is he showing?
I didn't see. Sherry, you're echoing a lot, I think.
You know what? I'm going to go out and come back in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Brian, you there? So explain to me. I'm looking at this Alan Kessler tweet from Borgata, I think, or no? It's the horseshoe. What am I looking at? What am I not understanding?
Maybe it's me.
Like what is Alan's point here? Is his point that everyone gets a rack instead of one person? Is that
Oh
what he's,
no.
what is he trying to incentive? What is he implying here?
Yeah, I don't know. There looks like the thousand. Crazy.
Yeah, so he's basically, because Alan's he's the rules and regulations guy. Alan loves to pick on that. So I don't know what he's implying, because I see a couple racks, because I guess most tournaments, I believe, one person does all the color ups with $100 chips, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe.
Let's see if I can get this.
Oh, here. Okay, I'm reading. A reply to Andy Frankenberger. World Series stacks, they color up chips in front of the player until they return. Oh, so they count your chips. They don't even. I guess at the pub, they don't do color ups unless players are present. Maybe it sounds like that's what he's saying. Interesting. Is that normal? That can't be right, because that would delay things.
Yeah, that's a big delay. I don't think that's real normal.
That's what Alan says in the replies, though. But the point was, Jimmy, did you see that last year where the dealer just colored all the chips up at once? Did you see that, or like literally colored the chips into stacks?
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine that was at one of those tables. That was crazy.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so I guess the point was you don't want to fuck up your stack and you come back. And I do feel bad. It's crazy that the most prestigious tournament in the world is the World Series of Poker events, and the dealers are often, it's the first tournament series they've ever dealt in their life. They just got out of school. So it sucks. I don't want to blame them because they're new, but that's crazy how, like, the Hustler Casino, or like, my casinos, Thunder Valley, like those dealers have worked there for like 20 years maybe, but the ones at the most prestigious $1 million tournaments are like people just out of dealer school.
Yeah, do you guys hear an echo from me?
But you have to realize the volume of dealers needed to pull off the WSOP. Thousands.
Yeah, no, again, I you're right. They have to generally you have to get single people, because you can't get someone to go away for like a month or two when they're like, family people maybe. But it's just such a weird, like, irony or something. I don't know what the word is, that the most important tournament in the world, Sherry, has the least
I get
qualified
it.
dealers.
When I played at the at the Rio back in 2017 or 18, I had a dealer who was so nervous she was shaking. And before she dealt the hand, I just looked at her. I said, "Honey, we're going to help you. Just take a deep breath." And I mean, she was literally shaking. She was so nervous because she was new, right?
Yeah, you don't want to fuck up in the big World
Yeah.
Series.
And the thing is, they're trying.
Well, I did, because I did mention the casino by name. If can I request you, Nick Bertucci, to come up? I did have a question about that, because I know these big $1 million games they just had, and they have 200, 400. Like, are they? How do they choose the dealers? Because that's the kind of game you obviously don't want to f up a deal. I'd feel embarrassed myself if I'm dealing a $1 million game and I make a dealer error, and it's that much money as compared to like a 1-3 game. So I wonder how Hustler chooses which dealers, or how many dealers does Hustler use. I know Magic, we see Lauren. I don't know how many dealers they use. The World Series, I know also the feature table. the featured table, they have certain dealers you'll see every year. It's the same guys because they don't want dealer mess ups on ESPN or whatever it is, CBS.
Yeah, how it works, Eric, is they do a dealer survey. Like you can vote on the best dealer.
Okay.
And then they take all those, jack up all the staff takes all those, and whoever's got the highest ratings.
Okay, Jimmy, I have a question on that. Who's doing the dealer survey? Other dealers or the players?
I'm not sure who does the actual survey.
That's what I'm saying. Like, cause I've played the World Series before. I don't once in my life ever remember seeing a dealer survey.
Well,
anywhere.
and they do the Dealer of the Year award, so I'm sure they probably comprise a list from that contest too.
But like you see these stream games like Hustler or the Lodge, you see the same dealers over and over. They're not rotating dealers throughout the casino. It's some highly rated dealers that are like, experts, I'd say, where the World Series, unfortunately, you have. And the one, like, I know Jimmy loves mixed games. I played most of the games. I don't know if I've ever played Badusi. I can't remember off the top of my head, but like, how do they pick the dealers who deal Badusi? That's something like it's kind of shocking to me.
There's only like 5 dealers in the world that know how to do Badusi.
Exactly. I don't even know how to play the fucking game, but it's a World Series bracelet event. Like, come on.
I don't know if everybody else is having this problem, but I'm getting a lot of feedback or
static.
Just echoing. So
no, I don't hear any echoes. I'm good.
I hear it.
I'm hearing it too.
I hear it.
If when you're not talking, you can just mute in between. I think it goes away good. So anyway, go ahead.
Eric, are you coming to Vegas?
Yeah, I actually I was on I booked a Horseshoe. I didn't do the Horseshoe by choice, but Horseshoe's such a shitty hotel that they actually offer the pretty much the cheapest rates. I was getting like $30 a night. And then the friend of mine who also wants to go, he said, "Hey, Eric, I have a Southwest companion option where like a companion flies for free, I guess. So that saves me another $400 maybe or $500. So I will be flying out Monday morning."
Nice. Text me and we'll hook up.
Yeah, my first WSOP event, I'm going to play the $1,500 Omaha 8 or better. That's on next Tuesday.
I'm playing that one too.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I like that, I do like Omaha. It's great, but it's not even the Omaha that I'm excited about. It's that when you play a tournament like that, Jimmy, where it's limit and you get to play in the big room with the big boys, and your Grano will be in that, Helmuth for surely will be in that. You'll see a lot of pros like Omaha 8 or better. They do. And I'll be able to play with pros. You'll be in the main room. You'll be there for hours and hours. Even if you have an unlucky day, you're still going to play for hours, enjoy the experience, be around the World Series. Where I was reading tweets from some of the top pros yesterday. They're like, "Oh, I lasted one orbit in the 25K no limit," and the top pros are going to play all the events, obviously. But if you're not going to play 50 events, it's really fun to play a $15 event and know that if you have any kind of luck at all, you're going to at least play for like 8-9 hours. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's exactly why I chose it as well. It's a lot of value.
Yeah, and no limit events, obviously, too. If you build up a big stack, you'll be around it. We all know the stories that you can have a big stack and lose it instantly. So, the Omaha, no matter how badly you play, you can't lose your whole stack in one hand.
Exactly. That's why it's designed. That's why the game's designed like that. It's a lot of value.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to take some lessons from Ari Engel because we all know that I think it was last Friday he took down the Omaha at the Wynn for 30K. So that's the kind of guy I'm gonna have to avoid apparently at my table.
Yeah, Ari Engel's a beast, man. He I don't know how many rings he has now. Like I don't even know, like 10 or 11.
Yeah, probably trying to catch up to our boy Maurice Hawkins.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, man, this thing is echoing on me.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
Brian,
crazy. For some reason, Sacramento guys, Sacramento's a huge Omaha. I don't know why. There's a casino in downtown Sacramento that literally all day long, about half the tables are Omaha. They have up to, I think we do up to 20-40 Omaha. But usually it starts at 4-8. They'll have like 2 4-8s, 8-16, 20-40. So like they'll have 10 tables running all day long, maybe 12, and 5 or 6 will be Omaha the entire day. I don't know why Sacramento's big in Omaha, but we love the Omaha here in Sac.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, I'm going to drop out, and then I'll drop back in, see if the echo goes away from me. But I'm hearing the echo, too.
Yeah, I'm just changing my headphones. I'm gonna change to headphones.
I think it's actually Jimmy Bluffett. He's had this before on other calls. He has this safe room he talks about, his place in Costa Rica where he lives, I think, and he has like a bunch of monitors and speakers, and it always makes weird noises when he's there.
Okay, try
Let's
talking
see.
now, Brian.
Yeah, I'm still.
I'm gonna jump out. I'll jump back in. Hold on.
No, I'll be right back. Let me just. Oh, he left.
I was going to say, you can't jump out because you're the host.
No. And actually, it did go away now that Eric bounced out. So.
All right, let's try this again.
What I was gonna do is put my headphones on and see if that.
You're not echoing right now.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, thank goodness.
We figured it out. It's Poker Pro Eric or Jimmy Bluffett.
Definitely not me.
One of the
it was
two.
Jimmy Bluffett. It was Jimmy.
You know, the like for somebody like me with ADD, having it echo back to me is like, oh my goodness, I cannot even do anything with it.
And it's just so annoying to try to listen to that, right?
Yeah.
That's so annoying.
You know what's annoying? Trying to listen to Ari Engel tell us about taxes while he's at breakfast with at Chuck E. Cheese's.
Well, we were trying because we asked him to come up, right? So
I know. I saw that. You got a terrible time. He's in the middle of a buffet at the fucking Vegas. Yeah.
And I did that for you because you had the questions.
Well, it was funny because he wasn't even here when I brought his name up, right? I think we brought his name up by or someone did by name and he showed up.
I know, but
that was.
Yeah. Are you talking about me?
No,
we're talking about Ari Engel.
Oh yeah. Hey, Brian, did you hear
Jimmy? We were talking about Ari and about how he travels the circuit, and then all of a sudden he showed up on stage magically.
Yeah, Ari's everywhere, man. He's you just rub 2 quarters together and he shows up, or rub 2 poker chips together and he shows up.
What were we gonna ask, Jimmy?
I was gonna ask if you saw D-Neg's shout out for me on his blog today. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet, but you know, like I need to catch up. Like I haven't even been really watching his blog at all or vlog at all. My daughter gets so mad. I used to call it.
Well, he did cash his first event, so it's actually fun. I guess someone made a joke like, if you're gonna do the vlog, at least make sure you win this year, because last year wasn't very exciting because you lost so much.
Do you like the Negreanu with the beard or without the beard, Sherry?
I think he's trying to look like his pal Dan, but that's just my opinion. I think
Dan who?
Brazilian or whatever the hell.
Oh, Dan. Okay, Bilzerian.
Yeah,
Brazilian.
Yeah, he's a Brazilian. But anyway,
quick update.
I think that I think because he goes to get it trimmed properly, I think it looks very nice.
Where you say
quick update? I've had 3 orbits. I've had kings, queens, ace, queen twice. So interesting start for sure.
Well, hold on. You said 3 orbits. How was it 3 orbits? It was only like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we got a nice fast table.
Jesus, that's a fast table.
Yeah. So
what's the chip count, Raja?
About 55. I think we.
And what would you start with? I missed that.
40.
Okay, so
up 200-300 blinds. So, but it's funny you guys were talking about. I was actually at the flight last year.
Mystery Millions, the 1001K.
I was at the flight where the guy did the mix-up with the chips, and it was like an hour and a half break. So I ended up going to my room. So that was
an hour and a half? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was like
oh my God.
Yeah, because the problem was they were trying to get the people to come in, but it was so packed because I think it was one of those $500 event where the people at the table were way in the back in the horseshoe and they couldn't hear. So I got to go back there dealing. But
okay.
Thanks for the update, bud.
I didn't know it was an hour and a half last year. That's wild because of one dealer. And I'd say I feel bad as a dealer. He probably was just out of dealer school like a month ago. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, no, it was.
He
was a new dealer, and it took a long time for them to figure it out. I remember that. A friend of mine was at a table surrounding it, and they kept texting me, "We're still waiting. We're still waiting for them to figure out that table." And it took a long time.
Really? Wow.
Unreal.
Hey, Raja, I have a question. Do you have any experience at playing any of these WSOP deep stacks, and can you give me some feedback on that? I was looking into those as well.
Yeah, I've played a couple like last year, but mostly, when I would bust out of a tournament, a bracelet event, I would go play the deep stack. I usually just had a great time. I'd start drinking usually in the evening, and normally would have pretty good tables where some of the players were also kind of just there to have fun.
Hey, Raja, what time does that start at the biggest one, the big field? 2:00?
I don't know. I think there's a
$1
$400
one.
1 o'clock every day. Is that correct, Brian? Every day?
Yeah, and it's the cheaper. It's the $250 one.
But it's a big field, though. The field's huge usually.
That's usually the biggest field. Yeah. And that is a lot of fun. There's obviously the players are definitely varying degrees of competence. It plays really deep early, and then
it goes faster. Well, it's got to finish in one day. But I've seen in years past, I've looked online because I haven't played a lot of those, because if I go down there, I want to play some bracelets. But I've seen some of those weekend events get such huge fields in those.
They're just
that the winners are getting like $40,000 to $50,000 in a $200 tournament.
That's why I'm interested, because the ROI is gigantic in some of these.
And if you lose $200, who fucking cares? That's nothing to anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I love to play those. Any day that I bust out at a decent time, or if I'm not playing, you can always find me in that. They used to be at 2 p.m. Now it's at 1. And the thing, are you here? You said you're here. You're here already, right, Jimmy?
Yes.
So the traffic's like crazy. So
Carmageddon is what somebody called it.
Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. But the thing is that that tournament, like, I have, as much as it becomes a shove fest, I did have one time where I got to the end and I felt like I had a lot of chips, and I wasn't in that spot. It was, unfortunately I took a really bad beat, trapped a guy with aces, and what it was it. But
hey, Brian, I did see go ahead, I'm sorry.
But you can get to the end and you're looking at a table of people that aren't necessarily, all that great, like usually you get to the end and you've got like, a bunch of people that are really, really good,
Yeah, I understand. I also did see for all you people over 50, they have a seniors one on the 7th of June, and it starts at like 9 in the morning. Did you see that, Brian?
Yeah, and fortunately, I don't qualify this year. Yeah, thank God.
Like I said I didn't know who qualified. I wasn't trying to say you did qualify. I was just putting that out there for people who.
I'm holding on to my last year of non-qualification. Usually, I go up, and that's the week that I want to play satellites and stuff like that. I just, well, they're not having single tables anymore, but it's kind of unfortunate, because I really feel like those single tables were a thing that, like, people don't have a lot of practice at, especially as you get down short-handed and a turbo and stuff like that. People make a lot of mistakes. So,
since Jimmy brought it up, let's take a look at those senior deep stacks. They're going to be at 9 a.m.
Wait, senior deep stack.
Senior deep stacks are going to be at 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. She's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be, the next one is June 7th, and then the 14th, the 20th, the 28th, July 5th, and July 12th. So that is a $250 buy-in deep stack for seniors.
So it's not a WSOP event, though, right?
Yeah, that's at the WSOP.
Yeah, it's WSOP Deep Stack Seniors is what they label it as.
Why, okay, I want to know, why does Brian keep questioning Sherry? What has Sherry done to ever be proven to be wrong? She's the encyclopedia of this show, by the way.
That is probably true.
I think that I like to contribute, and I think Brian and I love to gather information, right? So,
but since I've known you, Sherry,
we make it work.
You've always been the voice of reason and the teller of truth.
Well, and
Sherry the sheriff.
That.
And since you've known me, I've been the exact opposite, right?
No. No, but I try to spit facts because it's just too important of information to get wrong. And a lot of times you'll hear me say, "Ooh, I don't want to talk about this because I don't have it in front of me," because I just hate to give out the wrong information because somebody's counting on it being right. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Brian, any good food recommendations? What about that Italian place that's out front of the Horseshoe? What's it
Okay,
called?
so I'm gonna give you my and
Ellis Island.
yeah,
Giordano.
Ellis Island is solid, honestly. Like if you're wanting prime rib
Barbecue.
on a budget, and their barbecue is great too. They're a great place to go. I think that last time I looked, they still had like a $20 like gigantic prime rib dinner. Which I don't know where else you can find that anymore. Um, and you get like this way too big of a piece of prime rib there, and like you can go down the street to Lowry's, and yeah, Lowry's is obviously a little better, but you're going to spend like 3 times that, and and at Ellis Island it comes with like I think like 2 sides and salad and everything, so it's a good deal. I would say, okay, so how many people? Okay, we're not too bad. I don't want to give away all the secret places. I like to go to places not on the strip. um, so as well, first off, I'll tell you the secret that I had last year for the it's a little sketchy. Don't go over there by yourself, but like during the breaks, if you walk across the street to the sketchy bar on the corner across from the Horseshoe, they have like $1.50 hot dogs that are like amazing. The neighborhood is totally sketch, so be careful, but it's probably a little bit worth the risk. Don't take a bunch of cash with you.
Cheap hot dogs
But
at your
anyway,
own risk.
yeah, and
That's
they
funny.
have beer specials if you're into that or whatever. But like, I would just go over there and grab a hot dog, and you were able to make it back.
What's the name of that bar? What's the name of the bar? You don't
It's
remember?
right on the corner. If you go out that side entrance there, where where they do the Uber, it's like right across the street
Isn't it next to
uh,
that Italian restaurant,
yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
That's
Batista's
the
hole
Italian
in the wall.
restaurant I'm talking about. What's the name of that Italian
Yeah,
But
restaurant? I can't
Barista's
think of
Oh,
it.
hole in the wall.
Batista's. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Barista's.
Yes,
I, 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 I,
Batista's. That's it.
they've been there forever. They're good. Myself, I would rather go south on the strip and eat at Bootleggers. I think that they have great food. It's a cool vibe. Usually in the evenings, later ish, they have music, different music stuff. Um, they don't do like the drunken karaoke thing. They'll have quote unquote open mic, but it's usually like people that are somewhat known people. So it's like, they have like a nice, if you're into that, they have a nice music show there. A lot of times, I think his name's Frank Mancuso. He plays piano. He's like this amazing pianist and singer, and kind of like that old Vegas vibe, right? Um, and the food is great. So I would definitely recommend Bootleggers. If you've been around poker for very long, there's a place, Musashi, that's let me see here, east of the strip, um, over in the Howard Hughes kind of area there. Well, it's not it's just outside of that Howard Hughes area. And Musashi, they have, it's kind of like a Benihana's kind of vibe. But once you eat there, you will never want to go to Benihana's again because it's like super next level. And if you go, you gotta reserve in advance. And very important, ask for Tiger's table. He's the owner, and he he like makes like 8 different sauces for you beforehand. You'll be there. I've literally been there, and like he's cooking and the guy next to him's cooking, and the people are looking over like, what the heck? Like, these people are getting like the royal treatment. So I definitely recommend Musashi and Tiger's Table. There's tons of different sushi. I go to Oishi, Oyshi, on Rainbow. It's been there, for as long as that area's been around. I've been going there for, maybe 15 years or so. And they have pretty decent for all you can eat sushi. Let's see what else. Tacos El Gordo. That's what I do for tacos.
Yeah, tacos El Gordos is the best, honestly. That's like really good, cheap tacos. If you're half drunk or coming off of a bad beat, that's a
Yeah,
great place to go. Also, too, I just wanted to point out Lotus opened up a new location at Red Rocks. I don't know if
yeah,
anybody ever ventures out that way or lives out that way, but yeah, Lotus is unbelievable food every time. It's a little expensive, sure, but it's really, really good. And I also want to mention, of course, I have to every year. I eat there not because of not because of Brunson's name on it, but
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
really good food. Deli, Roma Deli. It's really good. It's not overrated. They give you phenomenal proportions too. You literally every time I've ever eat there, I end up taking some back to the room.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. And that's the one on Valley View, I believe, not the other one.
Correct. Yeah.
So they're two different things for sure. And you'll walk in there and you'll probably see, two or three people that over there at any given time. Like, their antipasta platter is the best. Anything I've ever had there is amazing. Usually I end up taking an antipasta platter to put in the fridge for the next day and eat, so I would second that for sure. Did you have
The
something?
one place, yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you for the kind words, Poker Pro, Eric. I didn't want you to think I was uh, slighting you on that. The one place that I don't know if people don't know about or forget about it, um, but honestly, it's probably one of my favorite restaurants to eat at is the cafe at South Point. It's delish.
I've actually been there before. I agree, Sherry. That's a really good place to eat, and it's fairly reasonable as well.
Which
Yeah, and they do.
which
Don't
place?
they do a? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Say which place again, Sherry?
It's the cafe in South Point, and they
Oh
have a
yeah,
very extensive menu. And they do a
yeah.
chicken schnitzel that I will, when I stay at South Point, which I do on occasion, I will have chicken schnitzel every day because it's delish. But they have a big, I think they have steak and eggs from like midnight to 6 a.m. or maybe
Correct.
it's prime or something, and it's like $5.99 for and their breakfast is it's always under $15, and it's delicious, freshly made food. So cafe at South Point.
Man, I'm getting hungry. I do have another place to mention too. I don't know if you guys remember Jimmy Frickle. I don't know. Jimmy Eats Vegas.
Jimmy Fricky. Yeah,
Fricky,
Jimmy
yeah.
Eats Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I was at Musashi the other day, and Tiger was like, "No, it's Fricky." Um, one thing before I say this part, before I forget, at Musashi, if you're gonna bring kids, be careful, because there are bachelor and bachelorette parties in there, and I've been bringing my kids there since they were 5 or 6, and my daughter that's like 18 now or whatever, she she was like, no, I saw, I know what went on. I was like, oh my gosh. So anyway, kind of somewhat inappropriate for kids, but they all loved the food, so we tried to like cover their eyes and whatever. Anyway, so Jimmy Freaky, Freaky. Say it again. Did I say it wrong?
Fricky.
Frick. Okay.
Freaky. Fricke.
Okay. Yeah. So he had a food blog a few years back, and he said, if you go to the Palace Station Oyster Bar at 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning, you will still wait in line for an hour. So I bust out of some tournament or whatever, um, and it's 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning when I happen to be reading this. So I said, "No way, right? Like he's full of crap." I drive over there. There's this line that's like huge, and so fortunately, I waited in it. And oh my goodness, like they have, like I don't eat oysters, but they have these like if you eat seafood, they have like this seafood stew kind of thing that's just absurdly good. They'll like put like spiciness. They'll ask you how spicy you want it or not spicy, and man, if it's a cold like going there in the winter, especially like we would bring back one to put in the fridge, and the next day it was like still amazing. So anyway, that's a if you like a saucy, spicy, or whatever creamy kind of thing like that, that is something that you got to hit up. And then obviously, if you're going on the higher end for prime rib, I'd go to Lowry's or something like that. So
Jack Binion's Steakhouse is pretty good at the Horseshoe too. That's pretty decent as well. It's expensive, but it's really good.
the other one
And
that, yeah, the
oh,
other one, I haven't been to that one. And the other one that I've always wanted to go to is that really old one. What's that up north? It's like,
Hugo's.
no, well, that one
Oh,
too.
it's in Binion's downtown.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about this one's like down by Sahara there. Um,
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
it's like
Uh,
super old school Vegas steakhouse.
Peppermill? No, not Peppermill.
No,
Golden Steer.
Golden Steer. That's
Oh,
it.
yes, 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 yes.
Jimmy
Yeah,
knows. Jimmy knows food.
yeah. So I've been wanting to go there forever and haven't. And then you just mentioned the one too, the Peppermill too. Like if you haven't been to Vegas, like that's kind of a must stop. Like, is it amazing food? Whatever. It's kind of like coffee shop kind of food, but
Right.
you know, it's just kind of like the Vegas kind of experience. Like I remember early on playing poker, coming out of a casino at 5 a.m. and hitting up the Peppermill for some gigantic pancakes that would sit on your stomach, and so you could sleep during the day. It's just like,
I remember the first time I went to Vegas. I was with Amarillo Slim. I was with a couple other famous poker players, and we went to a place way out on the north end of the strip, and it was like one of those vintage Vegas places. I'm just taking you back to like early late 80s kind of probably somewhere along in that time frame. Anyways, just sit there and listen to Slim just tell poker stories after poker stories, sipping a cup of coffee and eating prime rib and eggs for $1.99. That's how old I am, folks. There you go. I've said it. The cat's out of the bag.
well, it's like the Golden Nugget for years had this like steak and eggs $1.99 special that we'd hit up all the time. For sure. My dad, I got a funny story. So my dad insists that back in the late 70s or whatever, he was like at the Stardust, and he wasn't a poker player. My dad played like blackjack. He did blackjack tournaments and whatever. From a strategy standpoint, like he wasn't like the person that's coming in there counting cards or anything like that. He just loved to play blackjack, and somehow he did okay. But he decided to sit down to play poker, and he's playing some draw game, and this kid like sits down next to him, and he's the kid looks at him. He says, "I don't know why you're trying." He like basically tells him what his whole cards are, and he's like, "That you didn't see that you're trying to draw to this that was already folded, or whatever." And like my dad got up and walked away. So my dad swears years later he sees Stu Unger's picture at the World Series, and he says, "That's the guy that I was playing with." I was like, "Oh my goodness." I don't know
That's
if it
crazy.
really was. My dad was also the kind of guy that had like a revisionist history of what his hand was at a key moment, like the person that says, well, I had 2 pair and one of the pair was the pair on the board, and it's like, yeah, okay, you had 2 pair, but so did everybody else, right? So yeah, he was a great guy. It's crazy, like as the World Series comes around, how much like I'm thinking about him. We always, as when we were young, spent a lot of time in Vegas and stuff like that, and he was just an awesome guy. Always, anything I was ever doing, he was always wanting to be there. So
Well, and that's a wonderful tribute to your dad and the relationship you had with him, isn't it?
yeah, for sure.
It's awesome.
This
Good
is
for
cool.
you.
Thanks
Used
for
to.
posting this. Look at this barbecue at Ellis Island here. I need to go try that. Like I keep going there and I end up eating the prime rib, but that looks pretty tasty. So Hometown Hero posted in the chat, guy's box empty at Bellagio when he goes there this morning. No cash there and lock changed. So I don't know what that's about, but that is no bueno.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, not a good thing. What's weird is usually like, isn't it that you're not supposed to have cash in boxes or something like that? Or is that's probably like banks like don't let you. So I guess you're allowed to in casinos or whatever. So crazy. What's up, Josh
I
Arier?
can't
Come on
comment.
up and tell us what you're playing today, buddy. I'll send you an invite. See if you're in a place where you can come up and talk with us. Let us know what you're doing. If not, that's cool. We need another update from Raja. Last time he checked in, he had been dealt like the entire premium deck over and over and over. And he was up 15K in the bounty.
Hey, Brian, I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, have you been to Resorts World?
You know what? I have, that's like, I have not gone over there at all. Like I've been
You live in Vegas and you have not been to Resorts World.
Okay, so I used to have a house here. Yeah, I
I'm
used
just
to
kidding
have
with
a
you.
house here. I now live in Southern California, but I've always lived in Southern California, but I had a house here, so I was here a lot. Um, and that's the bummer. When I had the house, I really didn't talk to people at the World Series very much, so I didn't even know anybody. So here I'm sitting here in this house, like all by myself, like all summer. I would like let people stay there for free, like no problem. But I was so afraid early on, like there is a good contingent of people in the community that are, not good people to hang out with, but more and more like you start to, well, you're just around it, so you start to see who's legit and who's just a jackass.
For sure, yeah. They always expose themselves, don't they? Reason why I brought up Resorts World is because I was going to ask you, because I've played mixed games there, and there's like that's some of the best mixed games. I think I used to think it was Orleans was the best. Resorts World really spreads a really nice mixed games. I think.
I love Orleans. Speaking of which, like, but for different reasons. Like, I like to go in there and play, obviously, No Limit Hold'em, and yeah, it's a lot of fun going in there with all the retirees and playing
Locals,
really
Vegas locals.
splashy. You're
Yeah.
just playing splashy, and I generally walk up to the table with a beer that I'm never drinking. Like, and I'm just like, the wife said, "Poker's." The wife said, "Let's play slots." I said, "Slots aren't my game. Poker's my game. Hey guys, when do the blinds go up in this game?" And they're like, "Come on in, sit down." So
That's perfect. Yeah, that's funny.
yeah, they always like
That is a
the
good game. I always tell people all the time, if you're coming to Vegas, you got to play where the locals play. You got to play at the Nugget. You got to play at Orleans. You got to get off the strip and play with the locals, man. That's where the fun's at.
Yeah, I used to play way too tight during the series, and then at the end, I would go to a place like that and just blow off a couple $100 at the lowest no limit table, just for fun. And it was really funny because the people there would like get mad, and I'm like, I'm here like purposefully, I know that I'm going to give you guys a couple $100. Like, calm down here. I just want to play every hand, and I want to raise, and I want to re-raise, and I want to just have a good time, for as long as I'm here, But
You want a
they,
three barrel? You want to empty the clip, 3-barrel bluff, right?
yeah, of course,
Yes, of course. Check raise 3 streets.
Yeah, especially like, there were several years in a row where I got short in the main. And I was saying this earlier, literally, I was at these tables where every single pot I played, they would be like, I knew I had to play for my entire stack, so I'm just like hamstrung for, and then even worse than that, I come in like, 700th when they're 620 cash or something like that. I was within like
That's cool.
150 of the money like
Yeah.
2 years in a row and doing that, and so I sat there 2 days on end with 10 big blinds. It's like absurd. And so it's like, okay, I need to go over here and try to just fire at some stuff.
Yeah, it's so true because you're right. Because I mean, like the last day of the WPT 10K, like I made day 2, and I was just pretty much card dead, and I had George Wolf at the table. I don't know if you know him, but he's a hero. I had several really good players at my table. John Racner, Kelly. What's her name? The Asian girl. I forgot her name. She's
um
famous.
Maria.
Not Juan, the other one.
which
Not Maria Ho.
Maria?
No, the one Kitty Quo. Kitty
Oh,
Quo.
Kitty
Had
Quinn.
Kitty. Yeah, Kitty Quo was on my direct left. I
Okay.
just felt like I was handcuffed, And after that was over, and I didn't make. I was just short of the money, and I just went to the cash games, and I just went crazy. Because you're right. Because it's just like you sit there and have to play so disciplined to try to get in, and then you don't make it, and it's just like I've got to blast off. I've got to do something. So that's exactly what I did.
Raj, do you have an update for us? He just checked back in.
I had ace king against queens. He flopped quad, so I'm back to starting stack. So the grind's back on.
Oh, bummer. Well, at least you didn't lose like your
Yeah,
whole
small
stack.
stack he had. It sounds like there, guy.
Yeah. Flop quads.
Yeah,
Is
drawing
that
dead.
the worst? Is that the worst when like just the flop, you're just drawing dead? Like,
My buddy Jesse Folan from Poker News, he was playing the casino event, and he had Ace King, and the flop came out King 6-8, I believe. Turn was an 8,
yeah.
River 6. The other guy had quads and crippled him, and then he went out shortly after that.
Well, he
So
was already
shout out to
losing
Jesse
on the flop
Folan.
then. Yeah, he was already out.
What's that?
Let's talk about bad beats. Can you guys see the new
Wait,
tweet
wait,
I just
wait,
pinned?
wait, Eric.
Yeah.
Eric, what'd you just say? You said something, and then you just went past it. I didn't catch it. Sorry.
Oh, so he was already behind though. He had pocket sixes, the other guy. Now I want to get to the new topic. Can we talk about this topic I just saw tweeted a few minutes ago by Gordo? What are you guys' thoughts about keeping large amounts of money in the boxes at the casino?
Yeah, that's going to get more and more dangerous, isn't it? I heard about that guy at the Bellagio. I don't know who that
That
was.
was posted about 20 minutes ago or so. I'm confused. How does the key not work on his own box, and how is it that this sounds like it's the wrong box? I don't see how this is possible. Because if the key's not working, that's one thing. It's empty is another thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. At some point, some of these high rollers, Josh Arya could
Yeah, I
probably
was going to
step
ask
up here
Josh
if he
already
wanted
how
to
much
and
he has
talk
in a
about it.
box.
But
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
I think
But
I'm not sorry. No,
you're
sorry,
taking a big
Josh.
chance.
I'm not asking Josh exactly how much he has in a box. I'm saying how much, But anyways, I guess the point is that if you're relying on the box to be safe, and something like this can happen, I assume that they went through the database to see what number box he had, and it probably matched his name. But the fact that it's empty, who the hell has access to that other than employees?
Yeah, that's a tough one. There'll be a lot of cameras on that, and
And
people in the
how's he
room.
gonna prove how much he had in there?
That's the other problem. Yeah, you could say any number of it all, right? I mean, you could just make up a number.
Yeah, it's
Does
going to
anybody
be
know anybody
interesting.
that talked about taking pictures of things? Sherry, does anybody know anybody who takes pictures of their box before they
Why
exit?
would you? It's safe, right? That's the assumption. Why even bother?
Boy, there should be a lesson learned, though, shouldn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, that is a crazy, crazy situation for sure. I think with you, Eric, something's weird about the idea that maybe it's the wrong box or something. But like, how does that happen even?
Well, I'm trying to think. The key might not work. That's one thing. Either the keyhole got fucked up or the key got worn down, something. But if you open the correct box because the key didn't work, your money and your jewelry would still be in there. I thought. I mean, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, that's one thing too. Like, I always hated when they walked the box where you couldn't see the boxes. I always like to watch the person go and put the box back and all that. And I guess they have to turn that key, and to be able to get the key out, the box has to be locked, right? Your key to give you your key back.
Yeah, they have to
So
turn. It won't come out otherwise, I assume. Yeah.
yeah, so how does that even happen? Like, honestly, like where the key's not working, and you assume somebody came in there and drilled the box at some point, and
Yeah, but
Well, it
that's
said,
what
didn't
would the
the
punishment be if you got caught doing that though? Like in real, I mean, is that worth it even?
what they're going to have to do is probably figure out the last time he was there, and hopefully it wasn't too long, and see all the times where they've gone through and done that. You
Yep,
know,
that's
in
exactly
the
what they'll have to
first
do.
tweet about it? Sorry, in the first tweet about it, didn't you say that the lock was changed and the box was empty?
No, it says his key was kind of stuck and it wouldn't open it, and then they winded up. They had to drill out the hole. They went to drill it out. The employees they drilled it, and then when they pulled the box out, it was completely empty.
Okay, but Brian, you read a tweet. Didn't it say that the lock was changed and the box was empty? Wasn't it?
No,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
yeah, but that was from somebody else. Maybe that's hearsay,
Yeah,
but I don't.
I don't think
That
that's.
doesn't necessarily not line up with this, right? Oh, key was stuck, not opening it. Yeah, so the key wasn't working. Same
Yeah,
kind
so
of
I
story.
guess after they checked the key, they went to the spreadsheet or whatever, the registry to see what number he was linked to on the computer system. And they probably verified that, yes, this was indeed his box. But then when they drilled it open, it was an empty box. My assumption is there was a human error involved in registering the correct box, that this is probably not even his box. If the key wouldn't work and it's empty, that seems fishy.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. That's for
So what
sure.
what are you gonna do now? Are you gonna go through every other box nearby in the same area to see which one's his or what? I mean, that's gonna be impossible
You
to do.
just gotta you just gotta look at the film and see when the box that he thinks is his, who was in and out of it or what's happened with it.
Yeah. Well,
Hey
okay.
Eric,
For
hey
example,
Eric,
I'll
it's
tell you.
Ocean's
Yeah,
19, man.
exactly.
It's Ocean's
So, for
19.
example, this happened to me literally yesterday afternoon. Literally yesterday, I went to my gym, and every gym has like locker room, right? You put lock. I bring my own lock with me, and I went to put my stuff in the. I realized that I didn't have my lock with me. I had my wallet, my keys, my sunglasses, my headphones. I didn't have my lock though, so I wasn't going to put my stuff in. So then I went to there's a separate area with up by the front desk that has separate little lockers. I don't need locks. I put my stuff in there after I'm done working out. My habit is I went straight to the locker room, straight to the locker where I usually put my stuff in, and there was a bunch of guys there. I'm looking around like an idiot. Where's my lock? So this happened to me yesterday. I went to the wrong locker thinking that my stuff was in there and it wasn't. So I don't know. Again, I'm thinking something happened like that because there's no way that the box would be empty on a one that the key wouldn't work on.
Yeah, almost has to be.
Yeah, and again, I think it's human error because I'm assuming 99.999% they're not going to drill out a box just on your word. They're going to have to verify that your number matches your name, which leads me to believe there's human error that somebody put the wrong name on the wrong number box. But then what do you do?
We've got
What's the
4
solution?
million people. Poker Pro Eric, hate to interrupt you, but we've got 4 million people listening on not the alternative space. We've got Coco, the non-Coco Cocos. Not to blow up your spot down there, Coco.
He's
No, I'm
playing
just
mixed
kidding.
games. Leave him alone. He's playing mixed.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
just
we got
kidding. I love
I
Coco.
want to see Jimmy Bluffett versus Coco in a 5-game mix. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
But again, I'm
That'd be
worried
our
too because I'm bringing about 10K with me down to the series, but I'm not. It's not enough to put in a box. So let's say I got to put most of it in that Bravo account. I guess you got to load up ahead of time, right? So that takes care of most of it.
Yeah, but that is a good point. So people that are coming, like that isn't like a bank account. So you're not going to be going into that and withdrawing and stuff like that. So just know that, and you've got to put in a minimum of 2,500.
Why is there a minimum that high? That seems kind of high though, isn't it? Or odd.
It does to me, but
Like I said,
I
here's
don't
my
know.
point. A lot of people are going to come down just for that gladiator. That's a low buy-in. A lot of people want to play a couple of bullets. 2,500 is how many bullets is that? That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so if you want to play cash, like,
You can't.
I don't think
Yeah.
that you can take that money out to play cash, which is, honestly, I think I'm going to mention that to Jack. Like, they should allow you to withdraw to if you're going to go play cash.
Well, how do you prove they're going to go
you
play
know,
cash? What if they're going to go to the nightclub down the street? You don't know that, I guess.
yeah. I mean, it's
Well,
kind of hard.
that's kind of a nightmare. I mean, honestly, just go to the ATM and get some damn cash out
Well,
for
yes,
yourself. I
I'm
mean,
going more the
honestly.
realist. Sure, logistically again. The Gladiator is the cheapest event in World Series history. A lot of people are going to want to play a World Series based event for $300, maybe a couple buy-ins. I don't understand why we're forcing them to go in the long lines because they have to put 2,500 minimum in the computer. I feel like they're forcing people in the long lines physically now.
Is that one during the tag team again? I don't have my sheet in front of me.
Well, why would
because it was cool last year. What was that last year? It was like the military tournament or whatever that they salute to heroes or something like
I have
that.
no idea. I don't even know when this Gladiator thing is. It's $300, but if you want to bring 2 or 3 bullets with you, you're not going to put $2,500 in this Bravo account. I just don't understand why they make it so difficult for people to buy into that cheap tournament. Where again, I think even if you max buy in like several days, is it 1+1, right? It's 1+1. If you do that 3 days in a row, that's only $1,800 in buy-ins. So you're forcing people to put $2,500 in when they only want to pay $1,800 in buy-ins.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it was such there's so many things they were trying to work out last year that they moved that bar up to 2,500. And quite honestly, I think that bar is going to be lowered in the future. I think they're just trying to work all the
Or
kinks out in the
I don't even know
system.
where I put the number. I just feel like maybe 1,000, maybe, or at least you can. Because I said that I'm specifically talking about the biggest field the entire
Yeah,
year by far is going to be the Gladiator.
right. And I don't disagree with you, but even like Brian was telling us that they hadn't deducted his entry fee from his account for yesterday. And so I
Wait,
just think
what?
that they're trying to
How does that work?
work out all the kinks in the system before they get it. Like right now, maybe 10,000 people are using that
Yeah.
system. And if they lower that threshold, it's going to make it 50 or 60,000. And maybe they're not prepared yet, technology wise, to handle that many. So they're trying to work out the bugs, the kinks, whatever, so that they can
Possibly.
increase those
I think
numbers.
that's unfair and fair to say. You might be 100% right. You might be also wrong. It's weird because again, I don't know the answer to that. And I did ask the question to Raja how many kiosks they had. He said they had 7 on the Bally's or the Horseshoe side. I wondered they have more on the Paris side. Is that correct? More than 7? Maybe Jimmy knows, or Brian, or Sherry.
Yeah, probably about 7 or 8 on on probably both sides. I mean, there was never any lines for any of
Yeah,
those.
because
I mean, I
those are the
don't.
ones that are kind of fast and automatic, and people have preloaded. But I
Yeah,
feel like during the Gladiator or any of the weekend events, if you have a weekend 1K or weekend 500, those lines at the kiosk are actually going to be there too. Then.
Yeah, you're correct, Eric. There's like 7 on the horseshoe side, and I think there's another 7 or could be 8
And
even on the other
that's
side.
not
So
bad. I mean, that's better than when I go to some of these casinos. There's one ATM on the casino floor, and that's annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, those get you in there. The one thing though too, and it's kind of I don't think they've fixed it this year. I didn't see any way for so usually like I go there and for some reason my player cards like get where they don't work like on those machines for some reason over and over and over. So um, my wallet has a little magnet on it, I think, and probably that does it. But I try to keep them away from each other, so we'll see if it's maybe gotten better. But all my ones that I had from last year, I walked up to try to use, none of them worked, and so that just becomes a pain in the ass, honestly. So yeah.
Yeah, your player card not working is only second to your hotel key not working as far as
Oh,
aggravation level.
like especially if you're at a place where it's a long walk back to the freaking front desk or whatever, you're like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah, that really is a pain in the ass. I don't know what they're going to do with this box here at the at Bellagio. It's pretty crazy. Guy's box empty at Bellagio when he goes there this morning. No cash there, and lock changed. That is crazy. Unbelievable. Um, so I don't know what they're going to do, but hopefully it hasn't been too long since he went to that box, and they can kind of look at the records. I would imagine that those boxes don't get like drilled every day. Like it's probably
No, of course not. But
pretty
is
rare.
that so? Is that's mostly a cash player thing, right? Most boxes are just chips they use, the big chips from the cash games overnight, right? I assume.
Well, depending on the player, like sometimes they, I mean, if you're somebody that's a regular, you're gonna probably have a box there that's pretty permanent.
That's the
Yeah,
safety. I want to
I have
walk out.
friends that
Yeah.
leave them. They live out of town and they just leave it there because they know they're coming back in a few weeks or a month or whatever. So they just leave their chips in the box.
How much do they cost at Bellagio? Do we know like how much they cost to rent those?
I haven't done it there. The only place I used to do it every year at the World Series, and it was like I think $300, and then like some probably even maybe
Per
bigger.
year?
Yeah, and then it was like maybe another 300 deposit or something like that. But the thing is now that we're not there anymore, you could then basically use the diamond line all year. So I didn't tell you guys my little secret. Some people figured that out, I think, but I was always like, you know, they try to stop you at the door, and then you're like, no, I'm diamond. The other funny thing, I think I talked about this the other day, Eric, is how they had all the it was always a fight to get to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Um, and so, especially during the main event, I would always sign up for the day spa. And so everybody's like standing in these lines, and I'm sipping orange juices in the day spa, putting a
Hey,
warm towel on my
can you guys
face.
explain what's with the on the same topic, the Phil Homie's break room? What is going on there? What's the story?
So Daniel last year had the same thing. He had a little room that was really pretty close. And actually, you may not know this, but like at the Rio, they had like four. I don't know if maybe but they had like four of those kind of rooms, and basically they were like the green rooms from the, how what is that room? The pavilion.
Billion, yeah,
Uh,
the Amazon, yeah,
yeah, so how that room has like a stage. So
yeah, in the
behind the
back.
stage, there's like four, green rooms, dressing rooms, or whatever, and they would sell those to different people. And sometimes like poker sites would, you know, rent one or stuff like that. Usually for the
Yeah,
whole
the
time.
poker site. You're saying so poker players buy them just like a vendor essentially, but for themselves. I guess that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Daniel or
So
whatever.
you're telling me, I guess the easy way to make this, Helmuth didn't ask, "Hey, I'm Phil Homies, can I have one?" That's not how it worked. Okay.
No, as a matter of fact, it's a funny story. Is the other day when I went to fund my TBIC account. It was before everything opened, so I'm leaving the main cage of the casino, and who's in line but Phil Hellmuth, like in the regular line. And I walked up, I was even like, "Hey Phil, like the diamond line's over there." He's like, "Yeah, they won't let me use it for WSOP."
Oh wow. Okay. So you saw TJ, the health guy. TJ's been already trolling him on Twitter now because of that. He has all the snacks in there and candy instead of like health food. Yeah. So TJ's trolling him right now on Twitter.
I think people like Phil. I don't know. Phil is. I just get him. Like he's a competitive guy. You know, for those of you that haven't kind of like been around, like, and just seen him on TV, what you've seen on TV is really him. You think like he's not like that. He definitely, that's him. He gets worked up. He's super competitive. But I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, the guy's got a good heart. And, you know, even though, I mean, like people expect, right? Like, Eric, if you're at the table with Phil, you're going to needle him, get under his skin, and you're hoping to, you know, like that's a career goal, isn't it?
I mean, I'm not scared of anyone at this point. He's got more bracelets, but in an individual tournament, yeah, I could bust his ass. But I'm going to read the tweet real quick. It says, Phil Hellmuth should slide me his Amex card and let me stock that thing up properly. The dude is putting 87 octane in a diesel engine with that bullshit. Do you want to win a free bracelets this summer or not, Hellmuth?
Dang. Oh, that TJ. Yeah, I see now.
TJ, the nutrition coach. He's replying to Hellmuth's picture of all his candy and
that is true, dude. I mean, man, like if you're Hellmuth, like you should have TJ in there, you know.
And what better way for TJ to catapult himself than to get Hellmuth to embrace him and let him train him, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let me just say, like in my personal opinion, like when I played that WPT 10K, I had access to they gave me access to the WPT VIP lounge, and so I got to meet Doyle and all the VIPs. But Phil came in. Phil came in, and we had Molly Bloom there the first night as a speaker. And let me just say, like I got to like hang out with Phil and like talk to him about things, and he couldn't be more kind with this time. And he's the most charitable person I've ever met in my life. He does tons of stuff for so many people. Nobody even has a clue, and a lot of these poker pros do. I mean, all of them have their own thing. But I mean, as far as Phil, like you said, Brian, like he's the real deal. Like he's very passionate about poker, and he has a big ego, but he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, and I don't want this to be about scams and stuff like that because we've got enough of those shows, but I do want to touch on the fact, like what I believe in listening to the recordings of the Ultimate Bet stuff, you hear these guys actively colluding to try to keep the information away from Phil. And, so yeah, he took money. He was the marketing and whatever. He got money and all that stuff. But this idea that he was somehow like a scammer or something like that in that situation is totally blown out of the water by listening to that recording of the CEO and the attorneys. And they actually say at one point, I believe it's been several years, something to the effect of, hey, we can't let Phil find out about this. If he finds out, all hell will break loose, because
exactly, because I knew Phil would tell the truth and he would tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah. So, people fault him for when he did find out, what did he do or, didn't do. But, like I just always believe in trying to look on the positive side of people and hopefully there is a positive side there. I'm not going to let people take advantage of me in that, but just in general, I think that people are too much like the whole Berkey's a scammer thing. And you're like, really? Like Berkey, give me a break, or I don't like this.
Bad choice of words for Nick Airball. He even admits it now that going back, it's a bad choice of words calling Berkey a scammer. He's everything but a scammer.
Yeah. And I think that was mostly like, to draw attention to the whole thing and whatever. Like actually Nick kind of grew on me a little bit after really this week, like a little bit more than in the past. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, you got to
anyway,
remember. I mean, you got to remember, Brian, that he's like 25 or 26 years old. I mean, what were we doing at 25 and 26? We sure weren't playing heads up for $1 million.
yeah, we were not. No, for sure. And the guy. I always think back to what was that? There was like a main event, like I want to say 2007, 8-ish, where like he's playing against all these people that we were playing with online at the time. And he's just like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, like the game had changed online a little bit. And I think, he kind of got behind it, and he's sitting there thinking these people, he's not realizing he's playing with people that probably played more hands than him. And, he's like, you have no idea what you're doing,
Right? Yeah, exactly. He was playing with the new breed of player that he wasn't prepared for yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Get up here, Coco. Talk
Were
to
you
us. Coco.
were you saying that Airball is 26 or 27?
He's 27 years old right now.
Is that what you're saying, Jimmy?
No, you
I
say he's
thought he was
25.
26. I thought he
Okay.
said
27.
I just want to clarify with Jimmy who he was speaking with. Speaking about. Thank you.
No
Yeah.
worries.
Pretty young, huh? Crazy.
Still, even at 27, I wasn't playing for $1 million heads up at 27. So it's a whole new world we live in,
Well,
guys.
he also lost $1 million on Tuesday night on stream. Yeah.
987, Eric. Get your numbers
Yeah,
right.
I know. I get. You know what? I saw that too. Can someone explain how he lost 987 and $1 million? I don't understand. What did I miss?
There we go.
Did he pocket 13,000 and walk off the table, or what? I don't understand. Where'd it go?
Eric, I'm tired of this nonsense. You've stepped over the line. We clearly have a VIP here on the panel. We've brought up. You don't even see him.
Oh,
Come on.
okay. So I'll step back. I'll step back to the
Step back.
VIPs.
Quick
I know
question.
that's not.
Whoa,
I know
whoa,
we don't
whoa.
let little people talk here.
Raja has an update.
Does anyone know how to use this GTO Wizard app? I'd like to run that Ace King versus Queen's hand and see where I went wrong.
Yeah, don't do that.
I have a friend that knows how to use it real well.
Yeah, and I don't even think you're allowed to phone a friend here on this Twitter Spaces to run it for you. I think that's not no.
Well, no, that's not in the rules though. That's not in the rules. Yeah.
Somebody was talking about that yesterday or something. I don't know.
You can't use an RTA solver at the table, but they didn't say you can't text a friend to use one.
Yeah. Anyway,
I do want to bring up one thing when you guys were talking about playing the wrong tournament. So 2 years ago, my first World Series, I was playing a $1,500 bracelet event, and this guy sits down and immediately, over 30 minutes, busts a guy, doubles up through another guy, basically like triples up. In the tournament, and they kind of take him away for a couple of minutes. He comes back. He says, "Hey, sorry guys, the guy was supposed to be in the deep stack tournament, the $250 one. So he got the wrong chips." And obviously, one of the guys that got crippled was just sitting right there, and he was like, "Well, can I get my money back because he took about 90% of my chips?" But no go. They just took the chips off the table, and that's all they do.
unbelievable. Wow. And then that really messes up your table too, because the person that comes in, they get a starting stack, and all those chips are missing from the table now.
Yeah, basically, exactly. Like 3 times starting stacks of chips were gone, and
I think
it's quite interesting.
I think if that's me, I break that table. I don't know what's fair. It's just like, and obviously if they can. Go ahead, Sherry.
Sorry, what a cluster.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we've got a VIP here, Coco. Does he do that like a million times, or is that just my phone messing up? The unknown host of the other spaces.
Oh, I don't know who that is. Maybe it's Sean Deeb.
Okay, yeah. Actually, Coco, very brave of you to join the mutiny here. We won't tell the boss although this is being recorded. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, Coco?
What's up, guys? No, I was just I saw that Gordo story, and I wanted to hop on here and see if y'all had talked about it or knew about it. And sure enough, when I got on here, y'all were discussing it. But yeah, that's
What are your thoughts?
I mean, I would. Yeah, I don't know my thoughts. I mean, I would gamble that it's an inside job, that somebody got access to his box and
Bingo.
took the money.
Coco knows.
Yeah,
Coco knows. Bingo. Ocean's 19.
yeah. Mike Gordonowski's one of the. I mean, he's very well respected amongst all the top poker players in the world, and I mean, it's just fucking the worst timing ever, right?
How do they get a key though, Coco?
Yeah, that's what I don't know. Well, the thing is, I'm guessing that they didn't have a key, that it was more of like a professional job, obviously, if somebody's going in there and doing that. So, and then the fact that his key didn't work kind of makes sense also, because if they like finagled with the key, with the hole enough, I guess, then his key wouldn't work. So I don't know. I'm anxious to see what comes out about it.
You know how it could be nefarious is what I was saying earlier, somebody drilling the wrong box, right? So they, an employee has a friend or something like that, and they open a box, they come in, they say, hey, I have this box, and then the employee makes a quote unquote mistake and drills the wrong box, it's.
Yeah.
But Coco, the question is, Coco, does this scare you next time you're in Vegas with your millions of dollars to put it in a box?
Well, yeah, Coco's never had a box, okay? So
yeah,
Coco,
and although I've had a box, I've never had it was kind of embarrassing how much money I had in it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there with a decent amount of money, but yeah, I've never even had a box at a casino. I've never played at a casino big enough to worry about that. But I know that Mike Gordonowski, there's no telling what was in that box, honestly, which is.
Yeah, some people put more than just chips in there. They put cash dollars, jewelry.
Yeah,
watches.
I just mean money wise. I mean, there could have been a lot of chips in that box.
Well, if you play cash games at Bellagio, that's a high stakes, like I think Bobby's room. Some of
Oh
those
yeah.
guys put maybe over $1 million in chips in there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Cash games. Yeah.
Hey, Coco, I wonder how many high stakes regs are just running to their boxes to check and make sure everything's okay.
Oh, if I had a box at Bellagio, I would have been there as soon as I saw the tweet. I would have left whatever tournament I was in. I mean, unless maybe I was in the 25K or something, but yeah, I would have been there as fast as possible. Because that will be very interesting if his is the only box.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird for sure.
Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that the next time Sean shows up, I'll be asking some questions.
Oh yeah, he'll have some better answers too. But hopefully, I don't know how and that's the thing. I don't know how cameras work in those rooms. I don't know if those rooms don't have cameras where the boxes are. But
I feel like there's a privacy.
No, there's cameras everywhere. Yeah.
So there's cameras in the rooms with the boxes.
Yes, sir.
Oh well, then it shouldn't be an issue.
But Jimmy, does it zoom in like on the box itself or just on like who's in the room?
I'm not sure about that, Eric. I do know there's definitely cameras. I've seen them.
I feel like it's my personal opinion would be, I don't work in security. I think it'd be like the bathrooms where there's a camera showing who goes in and out of the bathroom, but there's not like a camera at each like stall.
Oh no, there's cameras all over, Eric, and now that they have like 4K and even maybe higher than that, like they can definitely it used to be that you clip out a thing and try to stretch it, and you couldn't see very well, but with 4K and probably up, like you can zoom in.
Yeah, so you're saying they could maybe zoom in on a person's box to see how much is in there even without even asking them. Is that what you're talking
about? Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And certainly they would want to probably have something, I haven't looked where the cameras are and stuff, but like say the camera above the counter, they definitely want to be able to do that. And think about how they probably count out that stuff. They do it in a very, measured way and stuff. So, I mean, although I don't know, I guess you're putting money in your box. Maybe they don't really spread it out and stuff.
Yeah, I'd be looking at anybody who may have quit their job at the Bellagio in the last week or so.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is like, how long has it been since he accessed that box? If it's only been like hours or a day or something like that, no big deal. But he had a box for the last year at Bellagio that he left and paid whatever rent on for the last year, and now he's back to get his money out. Now you got a big problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. If he's been gone for 4 months,
Well, yeah, exactly. I think it was what Coco said. I think he's been gone for months. I bet.
Well, yeah, that's going to be
World Series has started. He flies into town and the money's gone.
Yeah, because they're going to have a lot of footage to, roll back if that's the case. Wow.
Jeez.
Well, the good thing is that there is probably drilling the boxes probably doesn't happen all the time. So I would think that in that kind of situation, to get a box drilled, you've got to go through all kinds of paperwork and multiple people and all that stuff, So
yeah, that's what I was saying. You can't just say my box is number 132. They have to verify that you're 132.
Yeah. So how do you pull that off, right? Like my scenario, it's like one person back there signed off. Yeah, we're gonna drill this box, But like, I don't think that's the reality. The guy that comes to drill the box probably has to be in on it too. Then, like.
Oh, so you're saying they emptied the box once they drilled it without before?
I'm saying, here's what I'm saying, Coco, is that he puts his box there. Say his box is number 1, right?
Yeah.
And now an employee comes along, and they get a friend. The friend sets up a box, right? Box number 2. Now they come in like a week later and they say, okay, well, I can't find my box. The guy with number 2 says, I can't find my key. I have box number 1, right? And obviously that doesn't fly, but if the employee's in on it, then they go, oh, okay, yeah, number 1, go ahead and drill it. But I just don't think that's how it works, honestly. I think to drill a box, you got to have multiple people, confirming.
Okay, Brian, here's the story. Is weird because the beginning of Gordo's story is that they put the key in it and the key kind of got stuck. You wouldn't turn and open it. So that implies that the lock may have been changed somewhat prior in the past few months.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Look, this could just as easily be something on his end too. Like, who knows?
Well, like I told you my gym story. Literally yesterday, I went to the wrong locker room in the gym because I'm so used to going to the locker room and I forgot my lock. So I've done it just yesterday. I went to the wrong fucking locker. And if let's say Gordo was out of town for, let's say, 4 or 5 months, like Coco was saying, comes back for the World Series right now, plans to play, forgets kind of what number exactly it was. That's possible.
Yeah. Or he.
They never would have drilled that box without confirming that it was.
Well, exactly. Box. And that's where it gets fishy. Why the fuck are they drilling the wrong box then, right? Or
they didn't drill the wrong box.
Why is it empty then, Coco?
Somebody stole the money out of it.
Yep.
I mean, yeah,
it's gone. I like Coco's idea too. Check all the employees who quit in the past 2 weeks. Yeah.
But that was me thinking that like Gordo had been in Vegas. If he's been gone for months.
Oh yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it could have been months ago. Exactly. Yeah.
And obviously, that's if people were gonna try to do a heist on somebody's box, that would have been the move. Is to like know he's gonna be gone for.
Well, yeah, because if they knew he's only going to be back for World Series, which is starting with this week. He might have been gone since last World Series. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they would have done it, right after he left, and then they've had 11 months to quit their job and get away, and
to get a new ID. Yeah, that's wow. This is Brian. We have a hand up.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah. Plus, we don't know if it could have been the government, could have outstanding taxes. They come with a subpoena and they drill your box and take all your shit. They don't even have to tell you about it. It happened to friends of mine at the
Well,
at the Borgata.
yeah, that could be possible too, and the casino may not be able to, or be able to tell you, or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Wow.
For sure. If it's a government seizure, though, I would think that
I think
you
they
know,
tell everybody. They tell you and they tell the casino, though. I mean, the
Yeah, there's
casino would
got to be
contact
some
you.
paperwork. Definitely.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's other situations where maybe they're still doing an investigation or
Well,
something.
the casino can't
I don't.
not know. They have to know what happened. He just hasn't spoken to the
Yeah.
right person yet.
All right. Hold on. Raj just posted an update here. You guys read this?
No, tell me.
Coco, you see the new update that Raj just tweeted or posted? Pinned, actually. What the fuck is this, Raja? What are you doing, Raja? I'm confused. Get on the mic. The hell is this?
I don't.
Well,
I don't see a new update.
It says, oh, did Raja delete it? Raja, okay. It's Rob Kuhn, our friend Rob Kuhn. He just said he got $15,000 stolen from his bank and his account is frozen.
well, that's a
Summer
whole.
off to a great start.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
It's a whole different thing, but it's also at the World Series. He's in Vegas right now trying to get money, and his bank account got stolen or money. What's going on here these days? All these criminals.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
they're out here.
There goes.
Yeah, sounds like a
There
great
goes
place
the
to go if you're
hotel
trying to get your
room.
life together.
There goes the hotel room, Eric.
The 2 weeks of the Bellagio's gone, huh?
Yeah, when I first saw that Gordo tweet, I was thinking, hell, somebody said, "Come hell or high water," they were coming into the series with a roll on them, whether it was theirs or not. They just fucking took mics. What a fucking
Yeah.
shit.
Well,
Hopefully he's got a few boxes, right? That's what we're hoping.
All over town. Also,
Yeah.
hopefully we find
Yeah.
updates, by the way. If this is the last update we get, I'm going to be very upset.
yeah, isn't that funny? Like some of these stories, it's like, okay, not going to talk about it anymore, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and exactly. I want to know. I'm not saying I'm curious. We're all curious, but I feel like if this is the last tweet we get about it, it's going to be very, very disappointing.
Yeah, I don't think there'll definitely be some updates on this. This will be a huge story once it spreads.
Jeremy Osmus says, I remember a friend of mine accessed his box once there, and they handed him someone else's box wide open with 5 times his money in it.
Holy shit. So, yeah, they got all kind of problems with the box situation at Bellagio.
Mercy.
Andy Block says, I'd contact Brian Koppelman and David Levine to start writing the script for Ocean's 14. Seriously, though, this sucks. And I hope
at the Bellagio where the Ocean's 11 took place.
Yeah.
Right back to the scene of the crime.
Poor Bellagio, man. They're in on all that. The motorcycle bandit guy.
Yeah, the motorcycle, like that was Beans, right?
How crazy
was that Beans?
That was Beans, yeah.
What?
Dude, that's so crazy to me that like he comes on Space. I mean, he seems cool and nice, but it's like the fact that he like admitted to that being him, and that is wild.
Beans admitted what?
That he was like, go ahead, Derek. I don't even want to say it.
Garrett Adelstein says that he's the Kansas City scammer, aka the Bellagio bandit, the motorcycle bandit.
That Beans was?
Yeah, like the person like Rob Bellagio or whatever it was.
He seems like such a nice guy, though. No, I'm just kidding. It's funny, though. Like, I was laughing the other night when he's talking about all that stuff. But the other side of it is he's already pled guilty to all the stuff, all the whatever the tax case that he was doing. So, I think that, I don't know. I still wouldn't, in that position, I wouldn't talk about it, because if you say something different than what your statement is, now you've stirred up a whole problem for yourself. So I enjoyed hearing the story, but I don't think it's smart to
talked about it.
Yeah, because and the other thing too, Coco, is he's awaiting sentencing still on the case. So
Oh,
not
jeez.
not anything to do with that. I guess
Oh, a different case.
there was some kind of tax. I don't know, like a tax fraud case, or I don't know exactly what he was charged with, but some kind of tax issue or something like that um, that he
Oh,
was charged with, and I think that he pled guilty, and the way that he pled guilty, like, just outlined all the facts of what it is, in hopes to get a reduced sentence. I think that the problem was that he had taken like a PPP loan, and then he's telling the story the other night. And he takes the PPP loan to uh, I don't know, Borgata or somewhere, and he like lost it all on the craps table. so
jeez.
they were none too happy about that.
I got
But
an update. We got first break at about 60K, so good start.
there you
The
go.
other funny thing, Brian, is Beans just got staked by Benz for this, so that's also funny.
Well done, well done. No, I think the guy's, he at least he came on and he's like, this is what I did, But I guess he got, I think he said like 100,000 PPP loan, and he took that. And Coco, you can relate to this thinking, right? He took that and he figured that he could run that up to 300K on the caps table, pay back the loan, and then walk away with 200K. Um, the plan didn't accordingly go quite all that right, because he, instead of running up to 300K, he ran it down to 0.
Yeah, I mean, I've ran my own roll down like that to 0 multiple times, but I've never borrowed money to do it myself. But if you're gonna borrow it from the damn government, I guess.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, better than screwing a friend or something, or like taking a shot like that with a friend.
and I don't know what the actual thing was. I mean, obviously the government sends that money. I'm sure he paid it out as payroll and did those things. I think the
Oh,
problem might have been it. He kind of like sketched over this, but if I have to read between the lines, he had some kind of charity that he had set up, and maybe the transaction to claim that he was an employee, or I don't know. It's kind of weird to think about, like that PPP money, like once it's paid out, and then and then if he claims it, maybe he didn't claim it as payroll or something like that. I don't know. But
yeah, a lot of people are doing some stuff with the PPP stuff, obviously.
well, that's crazy. So yeah, anybody else have any questions for Coco or Raja or Donna? You haven't spoken yet. I'm sorry. We brought you up here a while ago.
Hi, I'm just having my sausages now. I started cooking sausages. No, they're not burnt.
And what do you put in them?
These shop bought sausages. I've just got tomato sauce on them.
Oh yeah. Okay. And no car chases today, I take it.
No car chases, but we've had police helicopter up, which has been quite exciting.
Yeah, I got pulled over by one of those one time. It was pretty crazy. I was like, we were driving. It was right after the whole O.J. Simpson thing. I was in college, and I said to my friend, looked, and this helicopter is flying alongside of us, and I'm like, look, the helicopters are chasing us back to the compound, O.J. And sure enough, I pull up in front of my house, and about 20 cop cars like surround my car, and they're like, guns drawn. They're like, get out of the car. And that's always the nervous part, because I've actually been shot before. So I was thinking, I am going to get shot again. This is not going to be fun. So I get out, and they sit us on the curb. I'm like, can I know what's the problem is? And he's like, just a minute, we'll be right with you. And like this other guy gets there and he walks up. He's like, no, you guys are white. It was a Hispanic that shot somebody or something. And I was like, wow, like that's just great. Like if I happened to be Hispanic, I would have been getting hauled off to jail right then, like crazy. Just like crazy situation. But all right, guys. If anybody doesn't have anything else, I think we can wrap it up. I'm going to head over and play the 1 p.m. deep stack just for fun.
Good
And
luck. Good luck, Brian.
run up a stack. The bounty thing, like I'm just not like whatever. If I satellited into it, whatever, that's cool. But like, I just don't like so much money getting taken out of the prize pool for like kind of like a lottery, right? Like I don't it's a good event to start with, especially if you're going to play a full series too. And if
Yeah.
you're and you know what, like the other side of it too, right? You're here for a week or whatever, like I'd definitely be playing, but if I'm going to come and play throughout the series and I'm going to try to watch the budget this year pretty much, I think I'd skip that unless I satellite in. Just my personal situation.
Oh yeah. Take it slow out there. It's a long summer.
And when are you coming out, Coco?
Supposed to be coming out June 26th. That's what I got planned. I got to do some stuff at home before then, but I don't know if I'm going to stay out through the main event. But I've got a little section of tournaments that I want to play for about 5 days straight.
You're like PLO or what?
Yeah, a bunch of. I'm playing looking to play like a 9-game mix, a PLO 8 mix, a Big O tournament, Stud 8, 08. So it's a bunch of different games. No limit.
Is
No.
that Robbie's?
Sorry.
Is that to do with Robbie? Is that to do with Robbie's Strainsky, Coco?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I can't.
Is that to do with Robbie Strainsky because he's got some mixed games going?
Oh, I don't
Round
know.
about that time.
Robbie's
sounds like
doing
it
his
might be.
mixed. Yeah, that'll be at the Resorts World. Are you playing at Resorts World, Coco?
If I play any mixed cash, I'm gonna check out Resorts World because ever since they opened, they said that all the good mixed games have kind of shifted over there. So I definitely want to go by there and check out the cash games.
Right. What Donna's referring to is Robbie Straczynski is hosting a mixed game series at Resorts
Oh,
World. That's what she's referencing. She
see,
was
I
wondering
haven't
if
seen.
that's what you were playing.
I'm gonna check that schedule out for sure. I think I don't know if they have their schedule on the website that I saw, but I don't think I saw the Resorts World schedule. So I definitely want to check that out if they're having a straight mixed games of like series.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. Stand by.
Thank you.
Well, if I were you, Coco, I'd follow Robbie Strainsky because he's actually got a post up regarding his mixed cash game festival.
Is he like the poker director at Resorts World?
No.
Okay, but I'll follow him though. I'm gonna find him
on this.
Yeah, I'll definitely.
No, he does. He's poker media. He's been around for donkey's years. He's got his own poker media company.
Okay, sweet.
The Big O at the World Series is on the 17th.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to be able to get out there. I got to take care of some family stuff. My whole family's going to Mexico, and I got to watch over things for like 3 different family members. But yeah, the earliest I can really get out there is like the 26th.
Will you be out there when Eden's there?
I hope, yeah. Well, assuming he stays, whenever he goes out, he's planning on staying staying as long as he can. So I hope he definitely stays at least until then, because that'll probably be one of the first person I hit up when I get out there for sure.
Yeah. Well, I wish him good luck anyway.
Did he send his information?
I don't know.
The guy
talk to him, but I hope so.
I was just like, the guy's gonna buy you a flight. Like, send him your freaking information. You know, before he changes his mind.
Yeah, he needs to get out there. I mean, he's got the 2 weeks at Bellagio. I've never stayed at Bellagio, but I'm sure it's nice. And
It's beautiful.
yeah, um, I'll be over there at Planet Hollywood. I got some comp rooms though, so everything's good.
Yeah.
And that's not far from Bali's if I want to go check out WSOP stuff.
Well, it's actually, yeah, it's perfect. Just walk across the bridge there, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about
Yep.
that, y'all. Like, I ended up hanging myself up, but I just posted a screenshot of who Don is talking about, so that you can follow him on
Got
Twitter,
it.
and you could go to his Twitter account, and he posts all the information about his series. That's what Donna's referring to.
Perfect. Thank you, Sherry and Donna. I'm gonna follow him now and check that out for
You're
sure.
welcome.
Couple
Yeah, he's
people.
also a great guy as well. I know him personally. Known him for quite a number of years now.
Couple people joined. I think Narco and I can't remember who else. But you guys have any questions?
No, I don't really have a question, but thanks for having me up. Just have a couple of comments.
Yeah.
I'm usually in those spaces with Eden Rocks and Coco and everybody else, and I run my own spaces for a different reason, like MMA betting stuff, and I've been running it for
Yeah.
over a year. And the one thing I can say is, like, Eden was starting to change, to be honest, and I'm one of the first person that went out there and tweeted something about his spaces initially, which there was too much toxic stuff going on, and it seemed to change, and it seemed to get better. And I was out there on Twitter saying, hey, I love the improvement, you're doing much better. Then I was listening yesterday, and the same toxic stuff came out again. Like it the one thing I want to say is, and why I'm bringing it up is, I want to honestly tell Coco, like, the dude has patience of a saint, and the stuff that he has to deal with as a co-host, man,
Yeah.
it's honestly very, very rough listening to it. And like I said, I run my own spaces. I have 200-300 people at a time every UFC fight card, and I mean, you have an audience, you have people out there. Without the audience, you don't have spaces, you don't have anything. And
Narco. Do you show up to this space drunk?
never, of course not, man.
Why
Like,
not?
first
So
of all, my space is about live betting content, so I'm giving people
yeah.
spots to bet. There's no way I'm doing that, and a lot of people trust me when it comes to MMA betting. Like, I'm third party tracked, everything, so I'm truthful about everything. And to be drunk on a live space is unprofessional, first of all. And if you're trying to act like this is something that you're trying to grow and do
Right.
professionally, that's obviously not very good to be, drunk. Or, the other thing is admission. You're tired, you're this, and you're constantly, you know, you have to admit some things in life. When you make mistakes, you learn from mistakes, and admission is the first thing you need to do, right? And to be going around, circles trying to give excuses, it's just not a good look. And honestly, I just came to say that if Coco was to run his own space and be the host, I think it would be much better, in my opinion. And if obviously he probably doesn't want to step on the other guy's toes, but at the end of the day, I think he's ruining his spaces, man. I don't care if Jennifer Tilly's there or Daniel Negreanu's there, but at the end of the day, these people realize what he's doing. And like Sean Deeb tried to explain to him yesterday, it's like going through one ear and out the other. Like, dude,
Yeah. He doesn't take criticism.
that's the issue. I mean, like, you're running a spaces. You're new to spaces. You admit that you're new to spaces, and you sit there and constantly act like, oh, I got this ship. I know what I'm doing. No, you don't, because you turn around and say that I'm new to this and I'm still learning. So, no, you don't know what you're doing. So listen to others that criticize you. Even if they're new to spaces, they see something that you might not be seeing. So,
I think the guy legitimately has talent. I'm rooting for him, but the problem is, my tell on him, us poker players, We read between the lines a lot. And here was my tell. Somebody came, Snoop Dogg came on, and probably others too, and they offered Eden a another bet that if he would stop drinking, and that was never on the table. And I just know for myself, like, if he's saying he wants this to be a job, a career, any job or any career, you can't really do it drinking. And especially if you're somebody that, seems to, I don't know, like, I don't know the guy, but like, just, I know people that have let's just say this. I know people that have problems with alcohol, and that's what I hear on there. And I'm not trying to drag the guy. I'm not trying to put him down. I've rooted from the very beginning. I want him to succeed. I think that people want him to legitimately succeed. And that's really the sad thing, Narco, is like you've got people that are that maybe don't have his best intentions in mind, but if well, here, the other night the guy was on and he said, I said, hey, be careful, Eden, like coming out there, people promising you stuff, you got to get that stuff locked down. And the other guy on the panel, he says, well, if they don't got it, I got you, Eden. And I was like, okay, so what does that mean exactly? He's like, well, I'd put up like $100 to GoFundMe. I'm like, exactly. So I got you doesn't mean anything. You have no idea what Eden's needs are or any of that stuff. And I reading between the lines, hear a guy that has a lot of talent that has problems like the rest of us, and I don't want to see anybody hurt from it. Barry, you got a question
Yeah, and then
or
and when the
comment?
guy said, even if we make you a food runner, like you'll go back and forth and bring people food. That's
Yeah,
that's
I think that's kind of like the popular thing,
that's
right?
their
Like,
idea of taking
oh,
care of them. So it's
yeah, you don't have you don't have a job that's like a career job. You could get that job anywhere and all that, but nobody knows that. I was happy to at least hear that it sounds like he can go back to his job. But listen, if and I own a restaurant, so if I had a server that was not getting any sleep and showing up late and tired, and wanting to miss and stuff like that. By the way, saying that you're going to keep him employed doesn't mean that you're going to give the shifts that you need and that kind of stuff. I don't want to talk bad about him. Like, I hope I'm not coming across that way.
I,
I'm rooting for the guy. It's just a long road and I'm not optimistic. Narco.
Well, I think those are kind words. And quite honestly, I don't think there would be anybody that would disagree with the fact that Coco or anyone else should start their own space. And quite honestly, this is really like we're beating a dead horse. Like,
Yeah.
let's just move on and talk poker or talk about anything but a dead horse.
Yeah. I got to wrap it up pretty quick anyway. Narco, did you have a comment or
yeah, yeah.
question?
It wasn't my intention wasn't to come up here and talk bad about Eden. That not at all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just trying to see that he was steering the ship the right way, and the problem is it went off the rails again yesterday, and I didn't even want to go up there to tell him because he just doesn't take criticism well, and I you want to tell people when they want to listen, but if they're not going to listen, it's just like you're talking to the wall. Like it's just not good. And the reason why I came up here to say this is I really believe Coco should run his own space because he's that calm. He's that good with his people that are coming up there. He's not kicking people. He's not dropping people. Listen, people are going to disagree with you. People disagree with me all the time. And, some people will even talk bad about you. But the thing to just kick people because you disagree with them or they brought up someone that you don't like and like this is just not how spaces is run. It just isn't. And at the end of the day, you're going to ruin all your spaces doing this kind of stuff because what happens is somebody knows another and the other person knows the other, and the word goes around more and more and more, and you start losing people like crazy. Next thing you know, you go from 300 people to 25 people in your spaces. It is what it is.
Yeah. And fortunately for him, he's still had the support of, people to come on. But, as you probably heard last night, Joey and Sean coming on and kind of giving him a little bit of tough love. And, hopefully he hears it. It sounded like he maybe quarter heard it, like
One last
he
one last thing. I'm gonna be out there the whole summer. I'm driving there on Friday. Um, I
awesome.
do want to do some kind of free roll for people in spaces. So I'm going to think about it and see what it's going to be. But I'm a pay it forward type of person. I've done incredibly this year in MMA betting. And so I'm
Awesome.
going to pay it forward. I played poker all my life. I've stopped playing like the last year and a half. But I still study a
Yeah.
ton. And I was part of CLC with Chance, and Joe McKean was my coach. So yeah, I'm gonna do something in spaces. I don't know whose space or what, but I'm gonna do something of a free roll for somebody. Somebody's gonna win something. So if Coco runs a space, then it's probably gonna be in his space. But if it's in Eden's space, I'm probably not gonna do it. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, I think that he's got the option to do it, and he's definitely has the talent to be able to do it. But can he kind of reverse course on some of this stuff? Because, like you said, you get on there, and even last night, like I got on there, I'm just like, I'm just gonna have fun and make a joke and get thrown off the panel, but whatever. Um, but he creates that environment for himself, from the very beginning. He came in with you know, I'm so mad at Smash Brothers and all the history and all that stuff that it starts to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And if he's drinking a lot, which I think he's kind of said he is, so I'll just say it that way. I try to be careful with what I say, but I don't think he should be, and he certainly acts at times like somebody that's got an alcohol problem to
I
me.
think he's traumatized a little from that smash because I've heard him talk about that and how those kids ganged up on him and they got him out of there. And like he
Yeah,
gets really, really defensive. Like yesterday, Sean opened up his space. He immediately went over there and said, like, "Gosh, like you couldn't wait to leave and open up your own space." It's like, dude, like you
yeah,
don't own spaces. You can't be like that, man. Like anybody can open their own space at any time. It's like you can't really control that, dude. Concentrate on your space. Forget about what others do.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
literally falling asleep, breathing.
Tournament break update. Elevator malfunction at the Horseshoe. I thought I was going to miss my big blind, but I guess they're doing a bracelet ceremony on the Paris side, so running good.
Oh yeah, that saved me a lot of times. And what's nice is you kind of get in there and don't have to listen to all the nonsense, and then you sit down and you take your hand and you're ready to go.
Must be the casino event, probably, right? And that's the only one that's awarded so
Yeah,
far.
casino, casino event for
Good
sure.
luck, everybody. I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys. Yeah, I'm driving there Friday, so I'll be there the whole summer. Take care. Good luck.
Safe driving, Narco, and I've given you a follow.
Thank you.
I think you're a great
Thank you.
guy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
And Sherry, thank you for the tip. On that note, I think we are gonna finally wrap it up.
No, it
Sherry.
was just getting good. You fucking
Yeah,
assholes.
Sherry. Yeah, well, you guys can start a new one. Sherry said, get to the tournament already. You're gonna be late. And
Exactly. Traffic. You got to get there so you don't miss your chance.
the
But
kick,
go
the
play.
kickoff. Yeah, yeah. Gonna go have fun today and run up a stack and win some money. And I hope everybody else does the same. Have a great rest of the
And
day.
don't fall down
You
like
as
Joe
well.
Biden.
Good luck. And Coco, you've got the
100%.
patience of a saint, and I love you. Good
Yeah,
luck, everybody, on the grind.
Y'all have a good one. Good
Boo.
luck, Brian.
yeah.
I hate you all.
I totally agree with that, Coco, by the way. So have a
Which is
great day,
what? Don't
guys.
fall down.
Don't
Good
fall,
luck, everybody.
don't fall down, Coco. Bye bye.